Nice to have you watching our Chevy pre-race show live from Dover, Delaware. This is the first of 3 consecutive races you'll see on FS1 next Saturday from Kansas, and then the Saturday after that, the All-Star race from Charlotte. Right now, the scene is here at the Monster Mile.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Dover Air Force Base Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Dan Schaefer, pastor of Calvary Assembly of God in Hightstown, New Jersey, offers today's invocation.
Shall we pray? Almighty God, we pause at this time to thank you for the great God that you are. We thank you for this great country that we live in. We thank you for our military. We pray for them this day. We pray for all of our first responders. We pray for especially for our police officers, so many that have lost their lives, that you would be with their families and give them comfort. And now here we are at Dover International Speedway, and we ask you now for a great race, for a safe race. We pray in Christ's name. Amen. Shalom.
Here to perform our national anthem, international country music star, Jessica Lynn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Perfectly timed flyover amongst the cloudy skies, but the fans getting fired up for the Drive for Autism.
He's a greasy wrench turning on a big black Chevrolet. First in, last out every day. He's a mega dollar, give a dollar if you need me, holler, kind of good old boy. Don't you love it when the good guys win? Don't you love it when the shit comes in? Yeah, man, every now and then what goes around comes around again. Don't you love a little long shot prayer? Underdog on a hell of a tear.
First Dover race for William Byron and Darrell Wallace Jr. Jimmy Johnson, we know about his success here. The last 18 Dover races have been won by champion drivers, so that's tough for guys who have not been top-notch. And with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, that update that we'll get to in just a moment. Throughout the season, Ford will be searching for the most passionate NASCAR fans to become the first ever inductees into the Ford Hall of Fans. To learn more, go to NASCAR.com/Ford. What about the pole sitter? We talked to him earlier, having to go to the rear.
Yeah, and he talked about needing some changes to his car, and you work hard on the front end settings of these race cars, and I guess the team worked a little bit harder than NASCAR appreciated.
and some of the experienced drivers handling themselves on this track, especially with maybe changing weather conditions from how things were earlier in the weekend.
I just think this place is so difficult, Chris. If you're at this point in the race and you don't think, or before the race, you don't think you have the car to win with, you're just nervous about it.
And the people up front, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, all have victories this year. Will we have a repeat winner in this, the 11th race of the Monster Energy Cup season?
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Merrill Reese and Mike Quick, broadcast team of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Drivers, start your engines!
Ready to race in Dover, including Joey Logano, who went unrestricted at Talladega. His Penske teammates, Brad Kay and Blaney, with the power. Who will be the first to 4 wins this season? Kevin or Kyle? Jimmy has 11 here. He won here last year after starting in the rear. Can pole sitter Kyle Larson do that today? Well, we're about to find out as we go racing in the first state at a track that can best be described as a giant concrete cereal bowl. The straightaways are banked more than Turn 2 at Pocono, more than the corners at Richmond, Phoenix, or Indianapolis. And that's just the straightaways. How hard is this racetrack? May of 1975, Dick May started his race car, and it failed to finish. He was everybody's favorite relief driver. Dick drove 5 different cars for 5 different teams in that race, and still wasn't running at the finish. Miles the Monster has an appetite for destruction. He stands over 60 feet tall to the top of that spoiler on the car in his right hand. Who can tame Miles the Monster today? It's a 400-mile thrill ride in the first state.
Everything about this track is hard.
You feel the speed.
It's never over in Dover.
Let me back it up to the start of the climb. Faced with an army, a fight that's alive. Gladiator, gladiator, to fight with the Slayer, gladiator.
Welcome to FS1's coverage of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Racing from Dover, presented by Drive For Autism. Your starting grid will roll on the left side. It will come from the pylon there, and we'll show how they qualified, beginning with pole sitter Kyle Larson. Who are we going to talk to?
Yeah, let's talk to Chase Elliott, start 6 today. Hey, Chase, this is Jeff up in the booth. You got me? Hey, Chase, Jeff up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Well, buddy, the last time we were here, you led 138 laps, had an amazing battle with Kyle Busch, ended up finishing second. I'm just curious, what did you learn from that intense battle that if you find yourself in those same results, maybe you could change the results?
Yeah, it was amazing for one of us, for sure. Had a really good car last fall, for sure. So I learned a lot that day. You know, you go through those type of situations, and you want to try to take something from it. I think I did. You know, it's hard to share that exactly. I don't know that, you know, you completely understand, but, you know, from sitting in here, I would change some things and hopefully change the results. So we'll see where we end up today.
All right, well, good luck getting that extra position, getting that result today.
Thanks, buddy. Y'all have a good one.
All right, so let's get some quick words from pit road before we go green. Matt Yoakum.
Track position, Mike Joyce, everything here at Dover, putting even more emphasis on the pit stops. Stewart Haas Racing's practice facility, 6 different concrete pads with measurements from Daytona to Dover. Harvick's team, they're able to simulate and mirror all the challenges that they'll see today. They'll have to be on their game, Vince Welsh.
Well, when you have Joe Gibbs equipment and Kyle Busch as your driver, you expect to win. The key is to keep Kyle in contention so he's in position to strike at the end. Do your job atop the box and in the pits today, and you're probably going to have Kyle Busch, at least the guy you got to pass to win this race this afternoon. Jamie Little.
One driver who's hitting his stride after 10 races is the 10-car driver of Eric Almirola. He has upped the motivation on this team, his preparation, his approach. He was fastest in final practice on Saturday. Keep your eye on the 10. Larry Mack?
Jamie, my focus every week is pit road, and that will definitely be the case today. Watching for uncontrolled tires, speeding on pit road, and one of the toughest entrances that there's on the circuit to get on the pit road under green. Let's take a look at the race analysis now. 400 laps and 400 miles of stages, 120 in the first two, 160 to the final run. Pit road speed, there it is, 35 miles per hour. The fuel window, 85 to 95 laps. And that grip level, Mike, a 3 to a 4, depending on rubber buildup on the track and air pressure.
Thanks, Larry. A very cloudy day here, and you see Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, and Austin Dillon moving to the rear of the field. That elevates Kevin Harvick to the front, but he does not get lane choice. When the pole winner is penalized, Harvick retains his position on the outside. Truex on the inside line moves up. Here's the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE to lead the field toward the green, the new front row. Truex and Harvick, Toyota and Ford.
Well, Mike, what do you think? I say you better fear the monster.
Yes.
Better watch out for Miles. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Already a great battle for this lead. I thought Kevin Harvick certainly chose the right lane using that outside line, the momentum, but look how hard Truex is already fighting back. He's going to have to settle in for second.
Truex got a lot of straightaway speed, but that 4-car looks like Harvick's pouring it down in the corner a little bit harder than Truex was.
In yesterday's Xfinity race, the opening green flag sequence ended right here on lap 2.
We're going to see some incredible views from Daniel Suarez on board with that visor cam.
Battling Brad Keselowski for 6th.
What a great weekend he's had. He's shown a lot of speed. This is a great track for Daniel Suarez. We've seen where he's been really smooth and really
spin
fast.
Turn 4.
Yep. Could be a wreck off of 4. Caution, caution, caution,
Michael
caution.
McDowell.
Caution.
I think McDowell had that same issue maybe a few
the
weeks
last
ago.
concrete track we were on.
Bristol, I think it was.
Caution out, completing lap 3, single car spin.
He's already starting to spin there in the middle of the corner. He looked like he may have had Bubba Wallace to his outside. I don't know if that contributed to his car getting loose.
Just another amazing, you know this, Jeff, it's hard to spin here and not hit that inside wall. Nice job saving the car.
McDowell was 24th.
Nose, maybe.
Flirting with it.
You know what? He got tagged in the back. That right rear bumper has a lot of damage on McDowell's car. And there's the other half. Let's take a closer look at what happened to the 34 of Michael McDowell. You see Bubba Wallace right behind him entering turn 3.
But Darrell, you had said that Bubba had really been carrying a lot of speed in the corner. It looked like he definitely carried a lot more speed in the 34, but maybe didn't expect the 34 to slide up in front of him.
They were right in the back of him, trying to go up the hill.
So contact from Bubba Wallace to Michael McDowell. First caution of the day. Landon Castle made a pit stop along with the 2 cars that were damaged. Kevin Harvick, your leader, elects the outside lane for the restart. Thinks that what we will see the rest of the day.
Yeah, we saw that in the truck race, saw yesterday in the Xfinity race. That outside just always seemed to get the best momentum on these restarts. A little bit better grip on that outside line.
Yeah, it's easy to just pinch that car down on the inside, take a little air off of them, and get the momentum off the corner.
Green flag. Lap 7.
And Harvick with a much better launch from the restart. That's going to help.
Well, we watched the 4-car in practice yesterday, Mike, and Jeff and I, and he has his tracker, Jeff does, and that 4-car was one of the most consistent cars, lap after lap, that we tracked yesterday.
And I think that's also why Truex was fighting so hard on that initial start, because he wanted to get that track position. He knew it's going to be tough to get by the 4 today.
Yeah, and again, I think really those first 4 cars, Jeff, on your tracker yesterday were the best cars over a 10, 20-lap run.
Jimmy Johnson trying to move up while Stenhouse challenges for 5th place. That was the 12th place battle. It's Stenhouse and Keselowski side by side for 5th.
Tell you, Stenhouse has had a good car this weekend, starting up near the front. He likes to run these concrete tracks. Remember how well he runs at Bristol?
Yes.
I think that'll pay off for him here today.
Denny Hamlin scoots up high. Clint Boyer's going to take advantage on the inside, perhaps. Suarez just ahead.
So easy with these tall banked corners here, especially on low air pressures at the beginning of a run, to overdrive the entry, hit that splitter, and launch the car up the racetrack.
Yeah, I think if Stenhouse had an issue, that would probably be it. Overdriving these corners and abusing the tires.
Kyle Busch closing in on our leaders, Vince.
But Kyle doesn't like some of the symptoms he's feeling in his car. He says he feels like he's got a vibration from the drivetrain, and he doesn't like the way the motor sounds. Still under full power, but we'll keep you updated if that changes. A little concern for the 18 cam.
Gosh, and just think we're only 11 laps into this race, and already he's feeling those things.
Gerald, I want to know how he feels any vibration. This place just rattles your brain being on this concrete track.
That's a good point, Jeff. That's really a good point.
How bumpy is it? Ride with Daniel Suarez visor cam and see.
I mean, this place will shake you up pretty good. It rattles you around. It's not as smooth as it looks. You see here with, look at Daniel. I mean, car's shaking around, and he's feeling every bit of that.
And that is exactly what it's like inside that car for 400 laps.
10th place. Hamlin Blaney. Boyer made the pass and went on.
You see, the 11 of Denny Hamlin slid up the racetrack. Ryan Blaney's going to get a nose underneath him and take advantage of that position.
Yeah, Blaney's a little bit better than Denny right now. I think Denny was actually holding Blaney up a tad.
Whoa, real close. The 22 got right to the rear bumper of the 11, Denny Hamlin.
This is no time. I mean, we're 14 laps in this race. If somebody's a little bit better than you are, smart money says might let them go.
Long race, isn't it?
Matt?
Believe it or not, Denny Hamlin has never scored a top 3 finish here at Dover, so he changed his mindset coming in. He told Mike Wheeler, his crew chief, I want you to make us closer to Kyle Busch's setup. I will learn to drive it. He looked at data, throttle traces, trying to mimic more of what Busch has found to be successful here. It's been a little bit of a struggle, but he's trying to make headway.
Byron and Menard having a good battle for 19th place. You know, for Kyle Busch, maybe it's a change of season that's needed. He's won here in the fall. He has a lot of top 10s in the fall. In the spring race at Dover, Kyle Busch's average finish is 31st with no wins.
Wow.
Getting worse, vibration, getting worse. I think it's looking spring. It ain't going to make it all day.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
No, it sounds like he's talking about a valve spring in the engine.
And especially if you have a vibration at the start of the race, as long as it doesn't change, you'll deal with it. You'll manage that. But when it starts to get worse, that's usually a sign that it's not going to get any better.
But you know what's funny, Jeff? I'm watching him, and the car is still very fast. It may have a slight issue, but it's still fast. But he's right about one thing. If it's a valve spring, that'll just continue to get worse.
Casey Kane in the 95 with William Byron goes up the track. And Menard comes right back after him. They were side by side in 2.
It's good to see a couple grooves really working. We're seeing a lot more rubber be laid down by the right side tires on the bottom groove, so some are starting to work that high groove. Boy, here's something we saw last fall, the 18, working that outside, making a pass on Chase Elliott.
That's exactly what we saw last fall. Either what's wrong with the 18 car Kyle Busch has said, I'm going to go like crazy till something happens, or there's really not that much wrong with it.
Backstretch smoker Corey LaJoie, who lost an engine in practice on Friday, has lit up the back straightaway, and caution flies for the second time.
Boy, don't you just feel for Corey LaJoie? I think this engine's blown on this car like the last 3 times he's driven it.
He'll be in this car for most of the season. Cole Witt will still drive a couple of races, but that looks pretty terminal.
It does, Mike, but you know what? This is a 20 laps, 21 laps. It's a great time to make a pit stop. If you got a problem, you might be able to correct it right now.
Kyle Larson has moved up to 25th after starting out back.
Yeah, Mike, these engines here are turning over 9,000 RPM, and we've already heard the talk about Kyle Busch, the 18, with the vibration. Let's go to our Ford Performance car, and let's go to our Ford Performance engine. The valve springs. There are 16 of them in an engine, 1 on the intake and 1 on the exhaust. And when it comes to high RPM, that's what really takes a beating. In fact, a lot of tracks we go to, the engine tuners change those valve springs on race morning just to have a fresh set. So we'll monitor that with that 18 car, but that's definitely the weakest link when it comes to high RPM.
So Kyle Busch still out there. Corey LaJoie has coasted to the garage. 3rd engine failure in 4 races this year for Corey LaJoie. Pit road is open, Matt.
First box off turn 4. Harvick, easy entry into his box, hits the sign. Eric Maycroft and Daniel Smith, the changers, going to work on that right side. You can see them bring those tires back around to the left side. No changes on the floor, Vince.
Well, the 18 of Kyle Busch, so the good news is he says the vibration is subsiding a little bit, but it is plowing tight on landing. Getting worse on the bottom. They'll make an air pressure adjustment, Jamie.
Home track for the 78. See him on the bottom right. Martin Truex Jr. saying he's losing the nose just a little bit, a little too much rear drive. A lot of adjustability built into these cars, especially early on.
Wow, some 2-tire stops. Austin Dillon pulls out quickly right in front of Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. May win the race off pit road from Brad Keselowski. He does without tires. However, 2 of the drivers penalized for inspection issues, Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson, chose not to pit. They will be the leaders when we restart.
Hey, you're here with the number 42 pit crew, Kyle Larson. Just want to show you all that we still will do it today from the back. Even though we didn't make it through tag, we got to start in the back, but we got pit stall 1, and it'll be a good show.
Let it rip, tater chip.
Larson will be second on the restart. Remember, they stopped back at the lap 3 caution along with Alex Bowman. Clint Boyer came in for an extra stop. He was 9th. And what's going on with Alex Bowman here?
Daniel
Suarez.
I really don't have a clue as to what that is.
It's in the way.
Yeah.
Green flag. Three abreast turn 2.
A little busy off turn 2 right there.
Woo! Landon Castle is.
Hold your line,
got
buddy.
his hands full.
Hold your line.
Lady makes a little contact.
Then Castle might also have taken on no tires in order to gain track position.
Yeah, he did, Mike. He didn't pit, and so he's at a bit of a harm's way right now. Jimmy Johnson, he just slid up in front of Jimmy here last time by, and Jimmy can't get by. Now he makes the pass, but Landon Castle was holding that 48 up there for a little bit.
Traffic jam at turn 4. Johnson, McMurray get past, then Menard. And Ryan Newman, now Eric Jones. And Almirola. Here's what almost happened with Jimmy Johnson. Logano to the inside, covering that spot.
Yeah, you saw Jimmy thought about taking him 3 wide. Thought about it again, but down the next corner, the 0-0 wiggles, goes up the track, and Jimmy goes right on by.
But that's the intelligence of Jimmy Johnson. No time to be running into somebody. It's too early in the race, but man, we got a roadblock here.
Yeah, that's a log jam. Now here's Boyer coming back from the back after making an extra stop, Matt.
Mike, on that stop, rear changer Shannon Myers had an issue with his air gun and the hose. The fitting broke. They had to bring the car back to make sure the left side wheels were indeed tightened. They weren't. Great call by Mike Bugaravich.
Wow. Get him back out there and safely. Battle of bright yellow for 7th. Blaney Stenhouse, and here comes Elliott.
Yeah, Mike, that little 12 car is pretty racy looking. Making some good passes right now.
Yeah, I heard Ryan Blaney yesterday talk about he really liked his car, especially on the longer runs.
It's looking good so far.
Now for 8th, Chase Elliott underneath Ricky Stenhouse, who likes that high line. Not as much as Chase likes the bottom.
No, as Junior Johnson say, a couple of youngins going at it there.
Kevin Harvick's up to 5th. Kyle Busch fell to 6th on the first couple of laps, 15th place.
Well, a lot of battles going on all over the field.
Got some comers and goers right now.
400 laps at Dover, nothing for Jamie McMurray. Just ahead of this group. He climbed Mount Mitchell on a bicycle this week. 8,000 feet of vertical climb.
Bubba Wallace has an issue. Slowing down the front straightaway.
Boy, Bubba had his hands full coming off turn 4.
Woo! Looked like the contact between he and McDowell was inadvertent back there at lap number 3.
Yeah, I think
caused the caution.
I think Bubba's car is just that bad.
We know Clint certainly in a hurry to get back to the front. I think he just got right up on the rear of the 43 Bubba and just got him real loose off of turn 4.
We call that severe loose.
After watching Bubba Wallace have his hands full practice yesterday, I don't think it took a whole lot from Clint Boyer to cause that to happen.
Tell you what, Mike, these guys are booking it right now. They're running 23 4s, 5s, and 6s. That's fast. Felt like with the overcast skies, the tire Goodyear brought here this year, you could really hammer these cars for a long time before they give up.
Not that they need any additional incentive, but the forecast is 55% chance of getting the entire race in with rain off to the west.
Vortex.
Hey guys, on 18 of Kyle Busch, he said it's got to be a drive shaft because after he turned off the car after that pit stop and the car wasn't running, he still felt the vibration in the drive shaft. So they're a little bit confused as to why he's having that vibration, but he's most concerned at this point with just how tight the car has gotten. So multiple issues for the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Thanks, Vince. Brad Keselowski just got right up against the rear bumper of Kyle Larson coming up off turn 2. Remember, Keselowski has fresh tires. The 2 leaders, Bowman and Larson, do not.
You're right, Mike, but I've been very impressed, especially with Alex Bowman out front leading this race, but also with Kyle Larson, that they've been able to hold these guys off this long on fresher, that has fresher tires.
I remember, though, I'm pretty sure the 88, and Larry, 88 pitted earlier, and I think did the 42 pit as well?
Yeah, they both pitted on that first caution at lap 5, so they had 13 laps on their tires. What they need here is a long green run, and that will even things out because if the caution comes, everybody will come to pit road. Mission accomplished.
Larson got loose, might have had a little help. Brad Keselowski covers the bottom, and here comes Truex with him. Then Harvick.
And we had seen the 42 of Kyle Larson really working the bottom line and the 2 of Keselowski working the higher line. I don't think the 42 Larson really intended to go to the high line, but he's making it work now.
Yeah, and one thing, Keselowski will be real careful with him now because he nerfed him a little bit. You don't want to go back up there and make yourself vulnerable by putting yourself in a bad spot. It'll be hard to get by this 42 on the outside, I can tell you that.
Well, he's about to have company with Truex and Harvick side by side. On the right, 2 laps ago, going off into the corner.
Larson just got really loose right down that landing area of turn 1. The back end came around on him. Pretty nice save, actually.
I tell you, there's nobody I think I've seen in a long time that can hang on to an ill-handling car or a loose car better than Kyle Larson can. He is a master.
Shades of Tim Richmond.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
There's Derek Cope in the 99 who won here back in 1990. He got the free pass on that last caution and goes 1 lap down again. With Alex Bowman out in front of Kyle Larson. Let's go back to 7th place and Jamie.
And Ryan Blaney was running 7th here a year ago when he had an issue with the rear axle. He also had issue in the fall, but Jeremy Bullins, his crew chief, said they're really confident. They've had some good runs, fast race cars here. Right now he's saying he's a little bit tight. They made a wedge and air pressure adjustment.
Thanks, Jamie. Squeeze play at turn 3.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know how Kyle Busch threaded that needle with the lap car way up on the outside as we watch Stenhouse and Hamlin for 9th.
Tell you one thing, ain't that dog on the back of the car all drawn up, I can tell you that.
Curious now that Keselowski was able to clear the 42. Now the 78's cleared the 42 of Kyle Larson. If they can close in on our leader, Alex Bowman.
Chris Buescher climbing the hill in 25th place, battling Trevor Bayne and his teammate Allmendinger. Show you what I got excited about here on the right.
This is one of those, hey, watch this.
Well,
that was close.
It was closer than it looked from there.
Oh, yeah.
Cody Ware on the high side going a lap down here.
Mike, again, we talk about Blaney in the 12. Just remember how great he was at Bristol. I know it's a mile track, it's a half-mile track, but he was really good on the concrete at Bristol, and he's got a really nice car today.
Alex Bowman has been out front for 24 of 45 laps so far. New tires tell the tale at Dover. Brad Keselowski had him. Alex Bowman wished he did. And Landon Castle slides up and out of the way, and we had a new leader. The third one of the day in Dover in Brad Keselowski. 8th place, Denny Hamlin. Once again working on Chase Elliott. This time, Hamlin on the bottom.
Well, it looks like Mike Wheeler made an adjustment for Denny Hamlin. That car's looking a lot better this run.
Got a little loose off, too, and Chase closed right back up on him. Just remember watching Chase in the practice yesterday, Mike. Had a it wasn't always one of the fastest cars, but a very consistent car. He and Jimmy Johnson were two guys that really impressed me about running consistent laps after lap after lap.
I think this track is one of the toughest tracks to get the balance right. You saw Kyle Larson get loose earlier going in the corner. You almost have to have that on entry in order to get the center of the corner to really roll.
Chase Elliott's never finished out of the top 5 at Dover, and that puts him in some pretty excellent company. Led a bunch of laps here last fall, over 100. But got past for the win with 2 to go, Vince.
Got a little snug right now for the 9. Not too bad, but just a little snug for his liking. It actually turned pretty well on that first run. And you guys mentioned Jimmy Johnson, and it's hard not, with all the success that Hendrick Motorsports has had with Jimmy and Jeff included, to not be a team that leans on that expertise when you come here. Maybe one of the reasons why Chase Elliott always seems to have been good here in his young career.
Johnson holding station at very workmanlike 13th for now, 55 laps in. And Alex Bowman, a lot of fall off there as he drifts back from the lead, Matt.
After finishing 5th in the concrete at Bristol, high expectations, Mike, coming in for Alex Bowman in the 88. They qualified 15th, but as we documented earlier, had to go to the back due to inspection issues. Pit strategy got him to the front. Right now, he's just trying to hold on, says the front is just pushing, losing it from the center to exit.
6th place, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson. Ford Chevrolet battle. And Denny Hamlin says, I'll be there in a second.
Boy, Hamlin's car is much, much better after that pit stop. Looks like they tightened him up. He's going somewhere now.
And isn't this what we've come to expect from Dover? Long green runs and cars that need to be set up for the long run.
Yeah, and Mike, with the track temperature being down the 70-degree mark today, cooler track temp than what we saw yesterday. I didn't expect the groove to move up as wide as it has, but we're starting right there. You see Denny Hamlin running right through the middle of the track. He's actually running lower than some of the other cars. Plus, you've got that bottom groove working. So multiple grooves and a lot of options here at Dover today.
Jeff, I think one thing that's making that happen is a lot of these slap cars, these slower cars, are all moving to the top. They're kind of cleaning that off and making it open for these other guys to use.
Brad Keselowski laps past Ross Chastain in 31st place. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski still looking for his first win of the year as he leads this race. I talked to Paul Wolf this morning. He said they hit on something in happy hour yesterday. They were really focused on staying on the bottom of the track, rolling the bottom better. They certainly made progress as he's working his way terrific. The car right now, he's saying, is just a little bit tight, Mike.
I love that shot of Brad Keselowski. Look at him raise up in the seat. Watch his head, just the top of his helmet. Now he's in the corner. His banks compress the whole vertebrae and body down into the banking. Now he comes up on the straightaway. I mean, he must raise up 2 inches.
2 or 3 inches, yeah. Well, it definitely compresses in the corner, no doubt about it. These banks are high here.
You wonder why NASCAR drivers spend a lot of time at the orthopedist. No wonder.
Yeah, I had one on staff 24 hours.
I'm not surprised. Well, here comes the home track favorite, New Jersey's Martin Truex, who did get his first Cup win here.
I think that's a team, Mike, that they're doing what they do so well. They made a pit stop, they adjust the car a little bit, and he eases himself right toward the front.
Key thing you said there, pit stop.
Yes.
If that 78 team can have solid pit stops today, they, I think, will win this race. But that's not been the case for them so far this year.
Leader hung in traffic. You're watching off his bumper cam at Ty Dillon. There was a slower car, Matt DiBenedetto, just ahead, and Keselowski had to jump on the brakes before pushing through.
Mike, just a little follow-up on what Jeff was saying about pit stops. A lot of times there are changes on these pit crews. That not the same pit crew they had last year. Maybe there's a different jack guy, a different tire guy, but there are changes that go on these teams every time we turn around that sometimes we're just not aware of.
That certainly has affected Martin Truex this season. They had quite a turnover from their championship-winning pit crew. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Dover, presented by the Drive For Autism and Dover International Speedway, using a portion of its enclosed grandstands. Front stretch of the harness track inside this concrete oval. Back stretch there, and a whole group of families from Delaware Autism enjoying the race from there.
Yeah, Artie Kimmer just told me in my ear that that's 125 families over there enjoying the race today.
Wow,
while we were away, Matt DiBenedetto made a pit stop, had an uncontrolled tire, had to come back down pit road for a pass-through penalty. 10th place, Stenhouse, Busch, Suarez, Johnson, and Eric Jones. Larry, uncontrolled tires are expected to be a big issue here today?
Yeah, you and I were talking about this in the booth during the pre-race show, Mike, because Regan Smith pointed out yesterday on our Xfinity Series broadcast that this pit road slopes a little bit, but away from the pit wall. So the tire, if it's just sitting there, it's going to automatically roll toward pit road.
Everything around here is banked.
That's right.
Everything around here leans.
One of the narrower pit roads on the circuit.
I think the most confusing thing to me about that pit road is where the white line is for the pit box, and you see where the asphalt and the concrete come together. That's a visual that's really hard from a driver's perspective to know that you're in the pit box.
Yeah, if you look right there, it's the white line. It's the white line that determines the pit box. The black lines that are there are simply to determine the white. It's just to highlight it. The white line dictates and determines the actual pit box.
Right. Lines, everywhere lines.
Keep an eye on that. Kurt Busch to 10th place on Ricky Stenhouse with Suarez in tow. And Jimmy Johnson driving just a very workmanlike race, Darrell.
It's exactly what I saw him do in practice yesterday. I was telling Jeff yesterday, it's as if he's programmed. You're going to run this lap speed, and you're going to run on the bottom of the track every lap. And that race will come to you if you do that.
Well, oftentimes it has. 11 victories at Dover for 7-time series champ Jimmy Johnson. More than most of the field have in their whole career.
Mikey has not wavered 1 inch off of that bottom line. I mean, he has run that same pace and that same line lap after lap after lap.
Vince, he's won as many races here as the rest of the field combined.
Well, he is so good here at Dover, and I was talking to him before the race, and we were talking just about what DW was saying about how in practice he was rolling off lap after lap after lap right at the same time, and he said it really wasn't our plan at the time that would be our race strategy, but then afterwards when we look back at practice, we thought, that might not be a bad strategy. We think we've got a pretty good race car right now, a little too free off for Jimmy's liking, though.
And that's what makes Jimmy Johnson so good here at Dover's. He knows exactly what he needs. He runs, like you said, Gerald, that same line lap after lap. Promise you, you don't win that many races by having the best car every single time you come here.
Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman at the start of this run, they were 1-2, having not made a pit stop since lap 5 when the caution came out at lap 3. They're currently 7th and 8th.
Guys, just remember, at the start of the race at Dover, it seems that tires wear a bit more. These guys haven't changed since lap 5. I would be a little bit concerned, making sure I'm feeling everything that's under me for those drivers that hadn't pitted.
Landon Castle pitting now, as you saw, with 79 laps complete. 41 to go in this first stage.
Here's the situation with Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman, because they pitted at lap 5, and remember the fuel window is about 85 to 95 laps. This first stage is 120 laps. They're going to have to hit pit road here in about 20 laps for fuel and tires. Everyone else that pitted on that last caution, including Austin Dillon, who did fuel only, they should be able to go to the end of the stage.
Brad Keselowski and team thinking about fuel.
Some guys are trying to save a little if they can. I don't feel like we need to be giving them speed to do it, but just want you to be aware of the situation. If you tell me what to do, I'll do it. Don't give up lap time yet.
Look in his mirrors what he needs to do, because Martin Truex is right there.
Boy, he is.
When Keselowski caught Bubba Wallace, Bubba worked him hard, tried to keep from going a lap down, and that allowed Truex to pounce.
And you saw Brad Keselowski inside that car working the wheel, turned back to the right a little bit. He's a little bit loose getting to the center.
Got a pretty good gap to work with before they get to David Reagan here.
Keselowski's working hard, Mike. Really working hard.
Yeah, I doubt he's saving any fuel.
12th place.
Well, Paul Wolf told him don't give up any lap time yet, so they're not worried yet.
Reed Sorensen makes a pit stop. A lot of green flag stops in the early going here among the second half of the field.
Outside up top, 80%. Clear. Clear. Still there. Clear. Still there. Come on, here, clear.
Talking about David Reagan, who they just lapped. You're hearing the spotters of the 2, Joey Meyer, Clayton Hughes on the 78. "35 laps to go in the first of 3 stages of NASCAR racing at Dover. Battle for the lead in Dover. Martin Truex Jr. was alongside Brad Keselowski at 90 laps here. Traffic ahead.
Still out there.
Both the JTG Chevys in front of this pair. They're going to stay. They're not going to stay up high. They're going to battle each other right in front of the leaders. Allmendinger and Buescher.
Clear.
Now what do you do?
Well, you got those 2 teammates are fighting hard to stay on the lead lap. You got the leaders fighting hard for first.
Clear low. Clear low.
Joey Meyer clears Keselowski to the bottom.
Still inside. Come on, keep coming. Clear.
And Clayton Hughes clears Martin Truex.
Don't you like those calm voices, though? Never panic. Always just under control. The spotter.
Well, Truex is so good through the center of the corner. You saw how much he gained on Brad Keselowski. He just can't quite clear him.
Man, he's there. He's looking. Can't quite get there.
Such a precarious place on this racetrack to be. On that bottom groove coming off of turn 2, the car really slides out. There's only a very narrow groove to be able to carry the throttle off that corner and make that pass happen.
Yeah, that coming off the corner is where you come together.
Now, while we were away, we had quite a battle between Joey Logano and Eric Jones for position. Greg Galding, the 23, a lap down. And here comes Boyer from the back after making that extra stop. And Joey uses the chrome horn on Eric Jones a bit there. Here's Clint Boyer's radio after he drove through there.
Clear low. Nice work, man. Way Awesome. Especially since we didn't wreck.
That's what the driver saw.
That's
what we didn't wreck.
When you get yourself in that position, you see that opportunity, you take it like Clint Boyer did, but you also hold on real tight because you're not sure if that car's going to get loose and come up into you.
Like many of the cars in the field, Greg Galding has stopped for tires under green and could lose as many as 2 laps with that stop. Coming down with 24 laps to go in this stage. Let's go to Harvick's pit. Matt.
Mike, most of the teams pitted on lap 22 should make it to the end of the stage, but the window is a little bit gray. Meanwhile, Harvick was told, as the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. making his way down on the pit road, Harvick was told, you need to run me about 30 B laps so that way we can for sure make it. The 11 of Denny Hamlin, his team told him, you need to back up your corner to try to save us a little bit of fuel to make it to the end of the stage. Jamie.
The 78 of Martin Truex Jr. thinks he has a tire going down. This was not a scheduled stop. He was battling for the lead as he brings it down to change those tires. You saw the 42 of Kyle Larson as well. He could not go to the end. He last pitted on lap 5, so they will have this scheduled stop for tires and fuel for the 42, and we will check those tires on the 78. Tough break for him here.
Yeah, I think it's a right front. It looks soft coming down pit road.
Truex is away, and he will go from second to at least 1 lap down.
Well, we talked about how fast this racetrack is and how slow pit road is. You lose a lot of time coming down pit road under green. Look at that right front tire.
See the right front tire is soft as he comes in. That's good.
Great feel and call by Mark Truex
Jr. You thought the same thing I did. What a great catch.
Yeah, that's going to roll away if it has air in it.
But and
it doesn't.
And he couldn't have caught it at a better time. He caught it on the back straightaway, was able to get to pit road pretty clean.
Great catch. $20 to go in stage 1. Keselowski in front of Harvick by almost a second. We're back here at 12th place with Stenhouse and Logano. And Kyle Larson had an uncontrolled tire on his stop. He will have to make the drive of shame down pit road under green.
Unbelievable.
That could be devastating to their day. That's going to be hard to make up. He's already a lap down, or maybe 2 laps down currently, by coming down pit road from where he was positioned. Now he's going to have to come down again and probably lose another lap.
Yeah, Jeff, they just don't have that good a car, and now they put themselves in a real bad position.
Let's look at the stop here for Larson.
See where the tire got out of control here. A lot of brake dust.
Right there where he shoved it out on pit road, it was with further than an arm's reach, and that's an uncontrolled tire.
Let's go back to the fuel issue and a concern for the leader, Brad Keselowski.
Even the cutting off in the corner, Paul's telling me.
Alex Bowman coming to pit road as Larson serves his penalty.
And Mike, it is brutal. 35 miles an hour, you feel like you could get out and walk faster than that.
You just can't pick and choose when those cautions come out, when you're going to come down pit road, take fuel and tires. And so I had no idea they were going to be cutting it this close, Larry, but boy, it sounds like they're pretty concerned.
Look at the tack. He is going right down to idle, taking the car out of gear going into the corner, trying to save fuel, Vince.
Well, crew chief Adam Stevens told Kyle, he said, I'm going to have to harp on you. You've got to back it down. We've got to make it to the end, and you've got to save me fuel. He's giving him lap times each and every time to remind Kyle how much he needs to save.
And guys, Alex Bowman just ran 98 laps. I feel like with where the lap times are, that they should be able to make it to the end of the stage, those that pitted on lap 22.
Yeah, and Larry, the only assumption is that they got it full when they were on pit road. That's the only assumption you have to make.
Martin Truex, fresh tires, trying to fire back through and get past the 17, which he does. So that makes Kevin Harvick the pursuer of Brad Keselowski's lead position with 14 to go in the stage. So Keselowski has slowed. He let Chris Buescher get back onto the lead lap and go by.
You know, people always say, how do you save fuel? Well, if you don't push the throttle down, you save fuel. That's how you save it. When you're off the gas, you're not burning any gas.
And I can't tell you how difficult it is to go into a corner, and if Kyle Busch is either shutting the engine off or pushing the clutch and try to drive the car into the corner by doing that, really difficult to do with everything going on here.
Well, we got
for the lead, here comes Harvick.
Outside. Clear high.
And that's why Brad Keselowski was asking, I need to know on what scale, because I don't want to give up this lead if I don't have to. But Kevin Harvick, obviously, he and Rodney Childers feel like they've got more fuel, or plenty of fuel, to go to the end of this stage.
I'm like Larry, I got to believe if they got the car fuel on their last stop, there shouldn't really be a problem.
But you remember a while ago, they were telling one of the drivers to run me some B laps. He knows by the lap time on his digital dash what B laps are.
Good point. And when Alex Bowman came down pit road, remember, he'd not been in the pit since lap 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry, if I had to guess, a B lap, not only is it lap time, but they know where they should be lifting, getting into the corner. They have markers out there that maybe they lift 100 feet earlier, something in that scenario, wait to pick up the throttle a little bit longer. All those things can help save a little bit of fuel over run.
Closing in on the end of the stage, Jimmy Johnson right now in 10th place. He has 0.7 of a second on Joey Logano to get that last stage point available.
Just like that, I just really like what Johnson's doing. Steady as she goes.
Kurt Busch in 9th. Rather 7th now over Blaney, as Paul Menard, once he went a lap down, he's in. That leaves us 19 cars on the lead lap with 9 to go in stage 1.
Just a mere 9 miles. Not that far.
Austin Dillon with fresh tires. Kyle Busch, that car's got its tongue hanging out.
He did. That old boy's worn out already. Happy though.
Yep.
He's smiling.
Still cutting it off in the corners. And Keselowski on the economy run as well.
Well, we've seen where nobody's better at saving fuel than Brad Keselowski, but right now I'm really impressed. Look at the telemetry on Keselowski where it's still in the green. That tells you how Kyle Busch is actually shutting that engine all the way off and not giving up as much time, I believe, as Keselowski has been.
Meanwhile, Martin Truex is passing everybody. He's the fastest car on the racetrack, and he needs to get 2 more, Michael McDowell and A.J. Allmendinger, to be in the free pass spot when this stage ends in 6 more laps.
Well, they would tell him to hurry, but he's already hurried. He's going as hard as he can.
Yeah, that's the problem he's facing. He keeps catching the free pass car, and then they keep putting another driver a lap down that creates another one.
Yeah, he's running about a second faster than the car he's trying to catch for that free pass, A.J. Allmendinger.
Paul Menard pulls out after a rough pit stop. Apparently they had a flat tire. That's what brought him in. With a few laps to go in the stage.
Really thought that 21 was going to have a great day. Oh, man.
21 to the garage.
Wow, I thought they were going to have a great day.
He was fastest in Friday practice.
We had documented that 21 car had some issues at both races here at Dover last year with Ryan Blaney driving.
Now, since that's a mechanical issue, they could make repairs and come back out. Still early here. It's also a narrow pit lane behind the pit boxes. A lot of running going on there. 5th place. Here comes Suarez on Chase Elliott.
Yeah, we used to tell somebody to run fuel. They said, you don't run fuel here.
Vince?
Well, the 9 of Chase Elliott is nervous. They just told him, crew chief Alan Gustafson, we are very, very close. You've got to save. By the way, the 21, they had a loose wheel. They couldn't get the wheel off, so they had to go to the garage to fix it.
Yeah, their last stop, they actually put a spacer on the right rear trying to get out of the reach of those bad threads. Obviously, it was not enough.
Eric Jones may be coasting down pit road. Now the pits are closed with 2 laps to go in the stage, but here is Jones on fumes. Ryan Newman coming in as well.
11 slow in the back.
And now Denny Hamlin may not get to pit road. Yes, he'll get down now. Matt?
Well, I don't know.
And Mike, a lap ago, Denny Hamlin came on the radio after they told him to try to conserve for the caution laps at the end of the stage. He says, I think I'm out now. He's just trying to coast the line.
Now, the 20 did not have a violation. Jones was on pit road before the red lights went on. Newman not so lucky. And Hamlin stays out.
Boy, he's barely going, though, Mike.
Final lap of the stage, and he's trying to stay on the lead lap. And believe he will if he can make it around to the green and white checkered flag, which has waved for Kevin Harvick over Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez, and Kurt Busch. Here comes Hamlin. One step at a time.
Now, does he have enough fuel to run the caution laps before they open pit road?
Boy, he is just...
And you're right, Jeff. He will have to do that to stay on the lead lap.
He's milking it, I know that.
And remember, you talked about it in the pre-race. The straightaways are banked. It's a lot here, too, so they got to get on the apron. I think you've got to go ahead and pit before they open pit road and just take the penalty of starting at the tail end of the longest line.
At least then you would be on the lead lap still. That's the plus side. Here's Brad's radio.
You don't think you can make it? We'll come down as we tail in for pitting too early, but you make the decision there.
Got one more left in me, I think. One more, that's it.
Hamlin is on pit road, just as Larry said.
That was Keselowski. Said he had one more left in him.
The pits are open. Now Hamlin, pit road was not open when Hamlin came in, so he will restart at the back. Has the pace car slowed way down, or is that just Harvick?
I think Harvick's not going very fast, but I think that's intentional.
I think that was heads up by Denny Hamlin. He's going to stay on the lead lap.
Yes. Matt?
Fifth stage win of the year for Kevin Harvick in the Ford. Coast into the box. Most of the cars on that lap, Mike, were silent as they went by, trying to conserve as much as they could. No changes on the Ford Harvick, just like the previous stop, Vince.
Funny exchange between Kyle Busch and crew chief Adam Stevens. Kyle said, why are we saving so much? I think I'm saving more than I need. And Adam Stevens said, because I don't want to look like an idiot. They're making tire changes and correcting some damage on the right front of that 18, Jamie.
Nice job by Brad Keselowski. He went the exact, as long as he needed. One more lap, they would have had to come into pit early. He said he's a little bit free and needs help at the 2/3 mark of the corner, so not a lot of work to be done here at 4 tire stop. And fill it up for the man who's led the most laps today, Brad Keselowski.
Well, somebody's lost a wheel.
And somebody's going to get a penalty.
Picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel. What do you say we dial up old Kevin Harvick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Harvick, it's DW. You got me, buddy?
10-4, I got you, man.
Are you having fun out there right now, man? You just won that stage. Car looks fast. Everything going good?
Everything's going pretty good. Traffic is a little bit tough. Our car was on the tight side there. Pretty much that whole run. Guys did a good job having me start saving fuel there at the beginning. We were able to keep a pretty good pace and get to the end of the stage. So every point matters. You know that when we get to the end of the year.
Yes, sir. You're exactly right. Every point matters. Hey, good luck, buddy. We're watching.
Thanks, guys.
That was Kurt Busch's wheel that was lost there as Harvick wins stage 1. In the 70s into the 80s, NASCAR's one-man marketing arm was Jim Foster. He forged big deals and relationships, built NASCAR's radio network, and bought Watkins Glen for a song. Later president of the Daytona International Speedway, Jim Foster passed last week, age 91. Let's go in the pit with RCR, presented by eBay Motors.
The Pit Box serves various purposes for NASCAR teams on pit road. It's a mobile command center for crew chiefs. Crew members have the ability to organize tools, and when the car is on the track, teams can monitor the race broadcast or even break down video of an earlier pit stop.
Turning your garage into a professional pit stop is easy, and it starts with a virtually unlimited selection of parts and tools on eBay Motors.
Shop every part for every ride at ebay.com/motors. There's the pit box for Ryan Newman. where they corded a right front tire. That's what brought him to pit road before the end of this first stage. Now let's update the free pass position. We saw Martin Truex racing hard to get into the free pass position one lap down, and he did. But then just before the stage ended, Kevin Harvick lapped A.J. Allmendinger, and he is the free pass car. So that means that Truex chose not to pit and is taking the wave around along with Alex Bowman, Cody Ware, Eric Jones, Kyle Larson, and Matt DiBenedetto are all taking the wave around.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch, of course, he had started with that uncontrolled tire. He had a problem. Or Kurt Busch, I'm sorry.
So restarting at the back, Newman and Hamlin, because they pitted when pit road closed with 2 laps to go in stage 1. So of those wave around cars, only Truex gets back onto the lead lap. So we will restart with 20 lead lap cars. Kevin Harvick on the outside, Brad Keselowski on the inside, Stewart Haas against Penske, both in Fords. Here they approach turn 4 in the Geico restart zone. Green, stage 2 underway. Jimmy Johnson battling for 5th with Ryan Blaney.
Like back in the day when the cars would take off, we'd say well, they're thundering. Now they sound like they're lightning. It's so totally different sound than what we had just not too many years ago. These engines turn so many RPM.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson worked really hard on the inside to get by Ryan Blaney, and he slid up in front of him off of turn 2, and Blaney all but lost it when the air was taken off of his car.
Chase Elliott, Clint Boyer.
We saw where Clint Boyer had a really good car in the long runs. Looks like he gives up a little bit here at the beginning of a run.
We're told William Byron had an uncontrolled tire on his pit stop. That's why he has restarted out back. Still on the lead lap. Stenhouse working back against McMurray.
Yeah, McMurray has done a nice job working his way into the top 10. Started around 23rd today. And how about Casey Kane right there also doing a really nice job.
Got a whole bunch of yellow cars all in a row.
Well, it's springtime. Vince.
And Casey Kane, this is the happiest they've been with their race car all season. Now, they had to save about the last 40 laps on that last run, save fuel, but he has been very pleased with the handling of this car. Long overdue for this group. They need a good run today.
You know what Mike always say, a new driver comes in, you got to change the culture. You got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you race. Driver like Casey Kane ups your game.
And a driver like Eric Almirola coming to the 10 with Johnny Klausmeyer. We return to Kansas next week. Not one of Eric's best memories, but fully recovered from a bad crash there and right up there with his Stewart Haas teammates.
I think it's amazing that he's out there competing at the level he is. I think it says a lot about his determination as well as the physicality that he brings every weekend.
Jamie?
Yeah, and Eric told me this week he golfed in that Drive for Autism that we all played in, and he said, this is the first time I played golf since breaking my back, and I actually feel great. So it's good to know how far he has come. As far as being behind the wheel, this team doesn't have a notebook built up, so every time they go to a track for the first time, they have to learn. They have to learn each other, crew chief to driver. Right now, they're making headway, making good adjustments, but he said those front tires just feel like they're not lasting long enough.
Mike, it's just the resolve and the determination of an athlete that gets them well and gets them back behind the wheel.
Absolutely. Now here comes Hamlin in 19th, trying to claw his way back toward the front, Matt.
kept it on the lead lap. He hit the reset button. Mike Wheeler asked him, well, how was your balance? He said, it's so hard to tell. I wasn't using any brake. I was coasting into the corner. I really wasn't pushing it, just trying to save fuel. I guess the balance was okay. And then he said, you know, I thought we were going to be sitting great for stage points. Then poof, it all went away. He goes, I think we're allergic to them.
And he's about to get passed by William Byron right now. Remember, Byron had a pit road penalty issue, had to restart 20th.
Yeah, I was thinking, I saw William Byron behind Denny Hamlin. I was like, hey, he's going to learn a lot here at Dover today in a Cup car, riding behind one of the best out there. And then he went past him.
Well, you'll see him in his mirror.
And I know I've talked many times about longtime sponsor of mine, DuPont, being up the road in Wilmington. Exalta, they're right close by also in Philadelphia.
Harvick stretching it out, 1.6 seconds up on Keselowski. 2 Fords, then 2 Toyotas.
That's a battle right here. Been watching these two guys, Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace, 41 here. The car, Kurt Busch had to start back because of the tire. They are using each other up. I'm just telling you, they were.
262 laps to go in Dover. We run 18 of the 120 laps in stage 2. Kevin Harvick out front. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Dover. That's the Monster Bridge that DuPont built over turn number 3, where you can be served and look right out at the cars rushing right below.
Tell you, that'll rattle your cage too. They go under that thing.
That's a VIP suite. That's not a pedestrian bridge.
I think that's the coolest seat in all of NASCAR right there. Certainly the most unique one.
Kevin Harvick now 1.7 up on Brad Keselowski.
We saw right there. There's our leader, Kevin Harvick. He has been so fast all weekend long. And you saw the back of the car step out and it wiggled a little bit. That just goes to show you how difficult this place is. You never have a perfectly balanced race car here.
You be complaining about your car. You be saying, my car is terrible. Yeah, but you're leading the race.
And you'll say, I'm loose. Just tighten me up a little bit. And they make one little tiny adjustment. You go, what'd you do this thing? I'm plowing, I'm pushing.
Killed me.
Second place tightening up. Kyle Busch has caught Keselowski. Right behind them in 4th place with that visor cam bouncing around, Daniel Suarez. Matt?
Mike, when you talk to the different crew chiefs that have worked with Daniel Suarez through his NASCAR career, they're all consistent in their comments. He's an impressive student of the game, and he's a quick learner. In fact, last year he was the best Joe Gibbs car here at Dover, finishing 6th, shattering the nose earlier in stage 1. The car's still on the tight side. He says, other than that, as you can see from the visor cam, ride quality, bad.
Mike, he's a heck of a nice man. But he's a heck of a hard driver, too.
Now, he wore the visor cam for us at Las Vegas. A 1.5 mile oval that's much smoother than the concrete here in Dover. And look at the difference. Just in.
Don't adjust your screen, folks. There's nothing wrong other than this place is just really rough.
And look, his car wasn't handling in Vegas, and it is handling here.
Well, that's also the difference between a paved racetrack with asphalt and a paved racetrack with concrete.
Yeah, those expansion joints in the concrete, Mike, it's literally like driving down the interstate.
Wow.
Pop, 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 and the car picks every one of those up. You feel it in your passenger car. You don't feel it so much here, but it builds up tire pressure, which makes the car really ill.
Suarez looking for his 3rd straight top 10.
And a big thank you to Daniel Suarez and his crew chief, Scott Graves, for carrying that visor cam for us, and for you folks at home to get to enjoy it also.
You know what I say? He's holding a pretty wheel.
Yes, he is.
32 laps into stage 2, Kevin Harvick legging it out. We are under caution at Dover. Derek Cope spun in turn 4 and slammed the inside wall. Matt?
Harvick in, the leader once again. No comments on the radio about the car. Now his pit box is sloped slightly toward the wall, so his guys have to be careful the tires don't roll up against the car to lose time, Vince.
Kyle Busch just says the car is too tight, and because of that tightness, he's not getting the grip that he needs. The good news for the 18, no more complaints about that vibration. 4 tires, Jamie.
Brad Keselowski in the 2 said he's pretty similar this time to last run. He said the ride quality is whoa bad. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires for the 2.
Brad Kay wins the race off pit road from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Safety crews talking to Derek Cope up there at turn 4, where his car made pretty heavy contact with the inside wall after a long looping spin. Puts us under caution at lap 152.
Yeah,
he is walking away.
He just got out, Mike.
That's good news in the black fire suit there.
It's just walled pretty hard, not on the outside so much, but when it comes down that hill.
Yellow car.
Watch this.
Just gets real loose.
Trying to hang on to it, but then it takes a turn to the left, and here she comes. This is a hard lick on that inside wall.
Thank goodness for this safer barrier that is there. That softened it a slight bit.
You see that wall rattle and move?
Here's Austin Dillon's view.
Outside wall coming down. Stay high, stay high. Watch you coming back up the racetrack. Just watch you. Keep coming. There you go. Nice work.
Austin did not expect 99 to Cope to come back up the hill that way. That was close. Woo!
Ryan Newman has gone behind the wall. Let's get a recap from Chris and Michael.
And Mike, coming off of pit road, just some of the mistakes or concerns. Caution lap 21, Clint Boyer had a hose brake changing tires. He had to come in, make sure all the lugs are tight. And of course, Kyle Larson, if you tuned in late, documented his problems.
Yeah, you saw that tire roll out into pit road. That's an uncontrolled tire and a penalty, and a couple other uncontrolled tires too. And you see the one getting away out onto pit road.
William Byron and then Kurt Busch. And Ryan Newman now apparently in the garage, but Clint Boyer has worked his way back up from that earlier problem. Worth mentioning, too, that Kevin Harvick has passed in his career at Dover, leading more than 1,000 laps, trying to win his 4th race of the year.
Yeah, and Boyer's got a fast car. I've been watching him fight his way through the field. He is a long-run driver. He's always been that way. I think dirt racers kind of have that in common. They just know how to pick and choose, find the line, and get in the right part of the racetrack to make some good time. He's doing that. You talk about pit road penalties, Chris. Yesterday in the Xfinity race, 6 of the top 10 drivers had a problem on pit road, but the top 3 were mistake-free. I don't know that you can rally and rebound with guys like Kevin Harvick running up front and win this race if you have an issue on pit road.
We talk about experience. A guy like Brad Keselowski, still looking for his first win of the year, tweeted prior to this race, thought he had a top 5 car. Well, he certainly kept that spot up there as your leader at the moment.
Yeah, he's very confident in this car, and I'm going to watch Kyle Busch as well. I talked about Boyer, but Kyle has so much speed, and his vibration is getting on his nerves, but you can't tell it by the way that car is performing. And then give my hats off to Jimmy Johnson, fighting up inside that top 5. That's a great run for this team. We've talked about the struggles of the Chevy teams. Maybe he can be the one that puts those struggles behind them.
Jimmy Johnson has not yet led a lap this year. The 7-time champ said on the pre-race show, what do you do when other cars have more speed? He said, complain about it. Meanwhile, he's working his way up. This summer, the World Cup coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live. Over 300 hours of coverage. It's the world's biggest sporting event, and it begins June 14th. You can see it on Fox and FS1. Let's head back upstairs, rejoin Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. There's the signal for 1 to go.
Mike, sometimes here the harmonics and the vibration of this concrete is really hard on the transmission and the rear end gear. And you get those rear tires chattering just a little bit, you'll tear up something in the drive line. So I'm not sure what happened to 31, but could be something like that.
4 drivers take the wave around. You saw Austin Dillon there trying to get himself back up to the lead lap. Now here's Tony Stewart, co-owner of Stewart-Haas, on the horn to the number 10 team.
Giving up on the fact that it was tight landing, and I just started driving it down in there way further.
Got moving around there. I think that's probably the right play. I think when it gets real black down there on the bottom, you got chasing the color there, but I think once it starts blending in, then you got to get back down.
Good advice from a former champ.
And nobody ran the bottom of this racetrack better than Tony Stewart. I know we talked about Jimmy Johnson loves that line, but also Tony Stewart is one of the best I've ever seen around here. So you can't get better information than that guy.
Report from the garage is a broken wheel stud has put Ryan Newman out of commission. He is off track, but not out of the race. It's 4 laps down. We'll see if he can get back out there. Keselowski and Harvick, 2 Fords up front, then Kyle Busch's Toyota, Jimmy Johnson, Chevrolet. We're back under green.
Not a great launch by Keselowski there on the start. Can the 4-car take advantage of it on the bottom?
That outside is so good. There's so much momentum, so much speed from that high line you get off the corner.
16 Dover wins among the top 4 as Suarez fights for 6th. Chase Elliott gets that spot.
And Mike up the front, you see that car running 3rd right now. Jimmy Johnson, I've just been watching him the whole race so far methodically. He was 12th, then he was 8th, now he's 3rd. Doing what Jimmy Johnson does here. You know how I know he's really good today? I've watched him do this 11 times.
Yes, Vince.
You know, it's interesting. Jimmy was telling me before the race today, said, forever we came here and the car would build tight. So I just had him set it up loose, and eventually it would come to me and it would be really fast the second half of the run. He said, but what's thrown us off the last couple of times we've been here is that the car has been building loose during the run. That's got us scratching our heads a little bit, questioning some of the things we've done. He said, I'm looking forward to seeing how it runs today.
Oh, we'll see. Trevor Bayne and Casey Kane had quite a battle here a lap ago. Bayne goes up high. Kane tries to pounce on the inside, and things get busy.
Well, they really do, Mike. And you got 4 fresh tires. Look at the cars. I mean, you want to go hard right now because you got the most grip you're going to have when you start this run, and guys will take chances that they won't take later on.
What I found so interesting about that is the 6 of Bayne knew that 95 was going to come up the racetrack, gave him extra room. You see a little bit of air off the nose of that 24 affected the 47 of Allmendinger, and he goes up the racetrack.
Well, these restarts are like crazy. They're like ants. They go everywhere.
Matthew Benedetto back on pit road.
Well, give a lot. Sorry, go ahead, Mike. I was just going to say, give a lot of credit to the 2 pit crew. They've been pretty unbelievable today, but also something that's factoring in there. Kyle Larson having an issue being a lap down. It's as if that 2 team has the #1 pit stall hit. They don't have that 42 in front of them. They're able to just launch straight off of the exit of pit road.
A couple of free pass cars, or wave around cars rather. Bowman and Larson scored 1 lap down along with McDowell and Bubba Wallace. And hey, Vince, early in the race, Kyle Busch said he had a bad vibration. A lot of cars in this race would like to be as bad as Kyle. He's holding station in 5th. Any comments from him?
Well, the best news is no comments, because since about halfway through that first run and that first stage, he hasn't commented on the vibration at all. So that's an indication that it has gone away. The one problem he's having, the car's just too tight, but the vibration is no longer an issue.
Good news. Matt?
Mike, near the end of that last run, Denny Hamlin was a little bit spooked in the race car. He came on the radio and told the team that something changed in the back of his car. In the right rear, it felt like it was slouching. At one point, he said, exiting turn 2, he felt the truck arm bottom out. Teams have the opportunity to look at manufacturer pictures that are on their online service to see if anything changed visually with the attitude of the car. Mike Wheeler said everything looks the same, so they're not really sure what happened.
I just think it's concrete. Concrete will throw you so many curves. Track changes, you hit the bumps a little different, you maybe accelerate a little different, and you get a different feel.
Well, Clint Boyer told us this morning, we're up with Clint up in the Sunoco suite, and he said, you'll run a race here, you'll run all 400 laps, the car will be just fine. You'll take it back to the shop, it'll be bent like a pretzel from this place. And they go, what did you do? He says, nothing, I didn't hit anything, I drove it. You know, I treated the car well. And it's all twisted up.
Yeah, he hit the banking 400 times.
But Mike, I will say, if you don't watch our practice shows, you should, because the cars that are running in the top 6 or 7 right now were cars we tracked in practice, and they were the best cars lap after lap.
Ryan Newman returns to the race that replaced that wheel stud, and Derek Cope checked and released at the care center. Keselowski, Harvick, Johnson, Blaney, and Kyle Busch, the front 5. 75 laps complete at Dover. We're all weekend long. Fans had fun stopping by and playing games at the Xfinity Zone. That was your 17 there, Darrell. I think it finished 2nd.
Well, you know, I love 17. It's been good to me.
Brad Keselowski, your leader. This is the most laps Brad has ever led at Dover. and it's the most laps he has led in any race in 2018. He's been out front for 84 circuits, Jamie.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you talk to this team, they say this has not been a good track for them. They certainly want to change that. And talking to Paul Wolf, his crew chief, this morning, he said since Ryan Blaney came over in the 12 car, the two teams really rely on each other. They lean on one another. Sometimes the 12 is better than the 2. This weekend, the 12 has the same setup as the 2, and you see them running first and fifth. Meanwhile, the 22 with Joey Logano, he's 10th right now. They kind of do their own thing. They have their own approach to the racetrack. So you see it paying off between the 2 and the 12.
Yeah, hard to believe that Joey Logano's only led 3 laps in 18 starts at Dover, the least of any track on the circuit for Logano.
I never would, when you said that, that amazed me. I didn't have any idea. The 2 fastest cars right now, though, are the 4, who's running second and closing on the 2, and the 18, who's running 4th and closing on the 48. Those are the 2 best cars I see so far right at this point.
I'll be curious to see what Brad Keselowski does here. He's been watching his mirror, watching Kevin Harvick work different lines, the bottom, the middle, the top, and gaining on him. And Brad's so good at analyzing, you know, what his own car is doing, and also watch his mirror and making adjustments.
It wouldn't be too hard to analyze right there. He's just faster than I am. He's coming to eat my lunch. There you go.
Third place on the left of your screen. Kyle Busch taking the spot from Jimmy Johnson.
That 18 came alive on this run, guys. He really has picked it up.
Well, and look at him running a higher line. Now we've talked about Jimmy Johnson running the bottom. The one thing about Jimmy, I don't know if you'll see him venture off that bottom. He's going to work that line and work track bar adjuster and work with his team to try to make adjustments until his car on the bottom is one of the fastest.
If we were here until tomorrow, he wouldn't be up. I've watched him for 3 days run that same line, that same pace.
Lead on the right, 6th place on the left, where Clint Boyer has overcome that extra pit stop due to a failed air hose and blasts past Chase Elliott for 6th.
You know, a lot of times you look at it and say it was there. A lot of times the driver in the front's looking back to see where the guy running second is, and he gets a little out of control. I've seen that happen a lot.
Austin Dillon goes 2 laps down to race leader Brad Keselowski. Harvick right there.
And Mike, I say that because they used to tell me when you're looking back, you're losing time.
Yep. Larry, I know it's only been 33 laps since everybody was on pit road. But as we look ahead to the end of this stage, what are we looking at?
Yeah, everybody pitted at lap 154, Mike, which would be 86 laps to go in this stage. We went back racing with 82 to go. Even based on what happened in that first stage, everyone should be able to go to the end of the stage should we stay green.
Okay. Daniel Suarez moves up to 7th place.
Yeah, they're having a pretty good battle of it. Pretty good going here.
And Keselowski got a bit loose. Harvick right there.
I think that's just pressure. I think Harvick's putting pressure on Brad. And I'm telling you, when you wonder where that guy behind you is, you make mistakes.
And Darrell, you talk about this a lot about this track. This is a rhythm track. When you're in the rhythm, you're so focused and everything's going smooth. As soon as somebody starts putting pressure on you, you get out of that rhythm and you start making mistakes.
Yep.
Bumper tight. All clear.
I think Harvick would really like to get a little bit closer to that left rear quarter panel of the 2 car and maybe just get them loose a little bit like we saw Clint Boyer do so well with Chase Elliott on the 9.
Pat?
Not only can Kevin Harvick see that the 2 car is starting to get free, his spotter, Tim McBean, who I've told him that 2 is telling his team that I'm starting to lose the back. And Jeff, that allows you as a driver to try to size them up and figure out what kind of game plan you want to use to make the pass.
And listen, guys, Jeff, you know, there's nothing any more fun than to be behind somebody and worry them to death. Worry them into making a mistake. It really makes you smile when you go by.
And this is one of the toughest places to pass. Aerodynamic, these are big, fast corners. And aerodynamics play a significant role. And that's why you see Kevin Harvick, every time he gets in the rear tire tracks of the 2, he's not able to really gain on them a whole lot. He's trying to move up the racetrack, get out of that clean air, or into the clean air, to get a little bit of extra grip or keep that air on his car.
And Jeff, I think that's why we saw a lot of cars having trouble in inspection down there, trying to get every little bit out of these cars they could for an aero advantage.
13th on the right. Eric Almirola had a good run off turn 2, got under Ricky Stenhouse, tried to use the lap car of Ray Gaulding as a pick. That didn't quite work. But here's Stenhouse edging ahead off turn 2 this time.
I think Harvick's got just a little bit higher line here, Mike. I think he knows there's something out there. Gives him a lot of speed. Watching him come off at 2 really helps him get down that back straightaway.
And I think what he's also trying to do is just find the perfect amount of entry speed to where the right front tire still hooks that center and gets pointed to get that big run off the corner to put more pressure on the 2 of Keselowski.
When you're down in that hole, turning those front tires, trying to stay down there, you're bogging your car down. You get a little higher, it's a little freer, you get a little more speed.
You can tell right there, that's where Kevin Harvick wanted to be. He wants to be right up against the apron. I think that's where his car's working best, but that's what Brad's doing such a good job of.
He goes in at 10%, rolls up to 70% to try to get around the corner on you. Clear by 2. Gets the run off, but he can't make the pass to the center.
This right here is what you call working it. He's working it.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Well, a big run off of turn 4 right there.
Ryan Newman just ahead of the leaders. On fresh tires, but 18 laps down. Politely moves out of the way, and Keselowski holds the lead at lap 192. Just like when we left. Kevin Harvick right on the back bumper of Brad Keselowski for the lead as they put Ty Dillon a second lap down.
Keselowski is playing great defense, I can tell you that. I think the 4 is faster, but he just can't find an opening. He might find one here.
Now.
He got to run. He's there.
Watch him jump in the throttle here early. Try to squirt forward. Not quite going to clear him, but he got him.
Clear. Get up there. Get up there. 2 tires behind you. That's it.
So Harvick back to the lead. He led it 66 laps earlier. 40 to go in stage 2. The battle for the free pass has been interesting. Larson and Bowman, with Larson ahead of Alex Bowman, the pole sitter who had to start in the back today. First car 1 lap down, but if these leaders catch A.J. Allmendinger, that will change the free pass position, and that should happen fairly soon. He's about Well, he's about 3 seconds ahead of the leader.
Mike, did you see how that car was just, Keselowski's car was just bouncing around as it went down the straightaway into the corner? I mean, it's very unstable, but the drivers just drive right through it.
Now, Austin Dillon is a little faster than these two because he came to the pits. He was 2 laps down. As soon as they put that second lap on Austin, he brought the 3 to the pits, got fresh tires. That puts him 4 laps down. He's going to try to get one of those back here.
And it wasn't that the 2 or the 4 was that much better than the 2, but the 2 was doing such a great job of holding Keselowski doing a great job of holding Kevin up, but once he got by him, he drove off.
And that's a perfect example of here at Dover how long you have to work to get a pass made, especially for the lead. I mean, that must have taken 30, 40 laps.
He worked him, man. He worked him forever. You know, Jeff, the old Highline's pretty good today.
It really is.
I've seen them here in a long time.
We see that bottom groove as Tony Stewart was talking to Eric Almirola on the radio. That bottom groove is the preferred line for a good portion of the beginning of a run. Then that right side Goodyear rubber lays down enough to where they have to finally start searching around. But boy, once they do, it's all the way to the wall.
We got wall-to-wall racing.
Well, Alex Bowman and Casey Kane had a little contact there. They might have a little more.
They're discussing it.
Cody Ware just ahead. Here's a look at it.
Whoa. Hello.
I don't know if Casey Kane didn't know he was there, or was going to make a run on the 20, or thought maybe the 88 got him a little bit loose.
Well, Jones and the 20 and Kane are both on the lead lap. Bowman 1 lap down.
Now, Jones we've seen him in a lot of precarious situations today, and there was another one.
We're just past halfway at Dover International Speedway in Delaware. Threatening skies, but it's been dry so far. About time for a Fox NASCAR Sunday you-know-what.
Clear. All clear.
Remember that now. You're clear. Clear. All clear all the way, all the way, all the way.
.26 laps to go in stage 2. Kevin Harvick out front. Ryan Newman makes a pit stop, and the free pass position has changed now that they've put A.J. Allmendinger and Chris Buescher 1 lap down to the race leader. Dover International Speedway. 1 mile of high banked concrete where Kevin Harvick is trying to win his 4th race of the year. He leads Brad Keselowski by just under 3 seconds. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, the top 5. Blaney battling Clint Boyer to hold on to that 5th place. And Ricky Stenhouse, Jamie McMurray just had a discussion for 13th place.
Well, you know, we just were talking about how hard it is to pass. Well, there's a couple of ways to do it.
The wiggle out the 1 of McMurray slows him down a bit. Opens up the door for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. It's just a little love tap right there.
Oh, he just needs a hug.
Kevin Harvick's been out front for 89 laps so far. 18 to go in stage 2. Brad Keselowski, the 2nd place car, has led the most laps today, 107. Kyle Busch in 3rd. Hopefully his early race issues are a thing of the past, Vince?
Yeah, they just can't find the handle on it right now. It's just way too tight. He's talking with the crew chief, Adam Stevens, about the adjustments they're going to make here at the end of the second stage. And Stevens was telling me earlier today that what it's going to take to be good in the second half of the race is impossible to simulate in practice. And that's where your program comes into play, your experience, your notebook, your driver's experience. That's why the veterans seem to run well here. They know what they need in the second half of the race. We'll see who makes those adjustments. Maybe this guy here in the 48. Huh?
That's a good point. Jimmy Johnson 7.2 back in fourth. And Ryan Blaney's come up into the top 5.
Tell you, he's got a nice car, but I think he may have scrubbed the wall a little bit there last time by.
That puts him back to 6th behind Clint Boyer.
I don't think he did a lot of damage to the car, but man, he was flirting with it.
A little bit of the right rear. Looks like that fender flare around the right rear tire may have taken just a little bit of damage.
This place will do that to you, Mike. It'll lure you right into thinking you got everything under control, and it'll bite you real quick.
Good run for Boyer. Up into the top 5 here.
Nice run by Boyer. Good job by him. 5th place, looking good.
Daniel Suarez in 7th. He's been in the top 5 a good part of today.
They're going to have to replace the steering box in that thing when this day's over with. He's wearing that baby out.
Well, remember, he's still got that thumb just a little bit weak from a couple of weeks ago. And don't count out Martin Truex. Nope. 9th place. 12 seconds back with 13 to go in stage 2.
He's had to pass a lot of cars to get to that position. He still has something for Kevin Harvick if he can get up there.
Chase Elliott in 9th. 2nd among the Chevrolets. And Joey Logano at what he says is his worst track, where he's only led 3 laps in his career, holding on to a top 10 spot here.
Yeah, consistent. Not the fastest car, pretty consistent.
Kurt Busch is 11th.
Heard that tire get away earlier in the race.
Eric Almirola 12th. He's 17 seconds back.
Another one of the Stewart-Haas cars just trucking along here right now.
Not really as good as Harvick and Boyer were. I thought both these other 2 Stewart-Haas cars would also be right up there with them.
Well, likewise, Denny Hamlin with Daniel Suarez and Kyle Busch. Here's Hamlin back at 13th. Ricky Stenhouse 14th after qualifying 5th in his Roush Fenway Ford. 42 of Kyle Larson, our pole sitter, had to start out back due to an inspection issue. Hasn't had the best of days. He's currently 1 lap down, a little off on strategy to the other leaders. William Byron had an uncontrolled tire on his pit stop prior to the last restart, so he is 15th. And Eric Jones.
And if it looks like these drivers right here, like Eric Jones is driving with some urgency, it's because they see what's happening in their mirror, and that is the 4 of Kevin Harvick is running them down.
Yeah, well, he's a little quicker than they are.
At the last restart, Jones got the free pass, made the most of it, but he's trying to hang on to the lead lap for 9 more laps, and the end of the stage, that's going to be tough duty. 7th place, Martin Truex moves to the outside and past Ryan Blaney. Jamie?
He could be giving up a little bit. He just radioed into his team. He thinks he might have trouble with the right front tire. They're telling him just to monitor it. If it gets worse, bring it down.
The worst tire that we saw among the photos that were relayed up here was Ryan Newman's early in the race. He corded a right front tire that he had to come in and make a stop under green.
Normally tire wear improves as the race goes on. You get more and more rubber on the track. Tire wear usually improves longer into the race.
So Eric Jones is now in the free pass position. He has to hope that Harvick does not put a lap on William Byron before the stage expires.
And what's hurting Eric Jones right now is that he's in the tire tracks of William Byron ahead of him on the bottom line. That's a preferred line for him, and Harvick's having to go to the high side. He's wanting to force him up there.
1 back.
Mike, when you're the leader, you have to handle these cars like Eric Jones. You got to be careful. You don't want to take yourself out of the lead here, racing the guy trying to put him a lap down.
Here's Jones' radio.
Coming back to 4. We are the dog now unless he catches a 24.
meaning we are the lucky dog, another name for the free pass.
The dog.
Unless Harvick passes William Byron.
Sorry. It's going to be close, guys.
I'm a little surprised that Eric Jones went up the racetrack, and I think that was him saying, I'm sorry that he moved up the racetrack and the 4 went right on by.
4 to go.
I think Jones was counting on Byron maybe to not give up that spot so easy and hold the 4 car up.
Also, Larson is up there, and Larson's trying to keep from going 2 laps down because there's no getting that back. Unless you take the wave around, you can get 1 back at the end of the stage. So a lot at stake right here as Kevin Harvick got a big run on William Byron down the backstretch. Ricky Stenhouse just ahead. Last car on the lead lap now.
Yeah, once you give Kevin Harvick that inside lane, there's no holding him back. His car's rolling around the bottom so good.
Pit road is closed with 2 to go in stage 2.
You know, Eric Jones was not happy to see that pass made.
No, but you know what? The 20 car, if he can get back around,
and he's working hard to do it.
He would be in a free pass.
Yikes!
Lap and a half to go. Little bump. Harvick trying to catch Stenhouse, might not do it. This might have to get settled between last year's Rookie of the Year and this year's top rookie.
Yeah, they're fighting hard, man. Eric Jones, William Byron, I mean, that's a battle for the position. They made contact, but
Byron clears it. Byron cleared it. And this is for the free pass. Harvick's going to win the stage. Who's going to get the right to come around and get back on the lead lap? William Byron.
That was a fight.
Harvick, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and Clint Bowyer. Joey Logano picks up the 10th and final point in this stage as Harvick sweeps the first 2 stages for the 4th time this year. 158 laps to go in Dover. Pit road is open. We have completed 2 stages. Kevin Harvick has won them both, and he leads Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch onto pit road. Matt.
Kevin Harvick said he was losing the nose during that run. They already made a chassis adjustment going back to their nose from both races here last year, trying to free up that number 4 car. Vince.
The 18 of Kyle Busch says the front end is just too tight. It's prohibiting him from putting the car where he wants it to go, and then it's costing him speed in the process. 4 tire change, air pressure for the 18. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski in the 2 wants a drink right there. They'll get a windshield tear up. It's a 4 tire stop. Add a little bit of tape. Said the car keeps taking swings. It'll be good, and then it gets too tight. They're watching those cars come down. Here comes the 4 of Harvick. The 2 is down.
Close battle off pit road. To Harvick over Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer, and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, since we already talked to stage 1 winner Kevin Harvick, let's talk to our 2nd place runner here, Brad Keselowski. Hey, Brad, this is Jeff up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, great battle between you and Kevin Harvick out there. Your pit crew's been getting it done. You got great pit stall there to get that launch, too. But do you have anything for Kevin Harvick here on this run to get to the finish?
Yeah, we've been better probably on those short to medium runs than the long runs, but I don't know, it really depends. Like I said, pit crew's been really strong. You know, we'll keep challenging there, but it's obviously really, really fast and seems to have really good, you know, stability on entry there, Jeff, with turn at the 2/3. So trying to figure out what I can do. I know one thing, we're not going to quit trying with Miller Lite Ford.
Well, it's been a fun battle to watch. We look forward to seeing it continue. Good luck.
Thanks, buddy. Have fun up there.
Let's take you back to the Daytona Beach course, 1956. Waterbury, Connecticut racer Russ Truelove qualifies 5th. Digs a tire in the sand of the north turn. Big barrel roll. Truelove walks away and right into the pages of Life magazine. In later years, he built a replica of that wrecked Mercury and was the hit of all the racers' reunions. Russ had 5 top 10s in 13 starts in NASCAR's Premier Series. He passed away last weekend in Connecticut, age 93.
They were right in the back of him, trying to go up the hill. I got a drivetrain back it all day. But don't worry, especially if there's anybody. Stay high. Watch him coming back up the ramp.
That's probably the right play. Once it starts blending in, then you got to get back down.
We'll settle in for stage 3. 154 laps to go. Green flag next time by. Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski out front behind the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE that leads the field. 15 lead lap cars back to William Byron, who won that great battle with Eric Jones to come to the green and white flag to end stage 2.
And you can see under caution here, these Goodyear tires pick up all that rubber. So going to go through this whole sequence again where they're right on the bottom, laying rubber on that bottom groove. Once it gets laid down, they'll start widening out that groove again.
Only 3 cautions so far for cause. The first one when Bubba Wallace got into Michael McDowell on lap 3. Corey LaJoie's engine blew up lap 21. And lap 152, Derek Cope crashed at turn 4. That plus the stage-ending cautions are all we've had.
You know what we're going to hear in this go-round? Who let the dog out? Ooh. That 18 car, pretty fast.
Here comes the Geico restart zone. That's where they'll see the green flag.
Keep an eye on that 78 of Mark Truex Jr. on that outside third row also.
Fast, yep. I think
green.
Have a little company up here now.
Well, you don't see Jimmy Johnson get shuffled often, but he got sent back to 7th on that restart.
I think it's just that inside lane. He started on the inside lane, and that outside really took off well, and the inside didn't. Lost some positions, but here he is battling again with Ryan Blaney. We've seen this before. They go 3 wide with Logano.
Not good.
Nice. Clear high, inside only. Clear, coming inside.
You know, Jeff, what this reminds me of? It reminds me of something you told me. I said, Jeff, what's so different about today's racing than what it was maybe 8 or 10 years ago? And you said, because these guys drive every lap like they're qualifying. And that's what I just saw. Out of that 12 and out of that 22, they're driving like they're qualifying. Larry.
Speaking of qualifying laps, top 3, Harvick, Keselowski, Boyer just ran their fastest lap of the race.
They're on it.
Yeah, there's just not the give up in the equipment that there used to be. Track position is so important. You can just hammer everything on this race car every single lap for 400 laps. That's how good everything is and how equal everything is on these cars today.
Yeah, we used to have to pace ourselves. The pace now is wide open. Just dig.
13th place. Hamlin, Almirola.
Of course, I will remind you that we ran a lot of 500-mile races here. Another 100 miles that they don't have to run today.
You're not the only one who's glad we don't do that anymore, right?
We just took a vote outside. We wanted to run 300 miles.
The lap Larry mentioned, lap 250. Harvick's caution turn 4, Cody Ware.
Wow.
What happened there, man?
Big hit.
I don't know.
It's going to be hard to make any laps without.
Snap, and then I just started spinning out.
Got that rear deck lid.
The lap that Kevin Harvick ran 3 laps ago was faster than the pole-winning lap.
No, that's amazing.
Incredible.
Jamie McMurray will get the free pass.
Remember on Friday, we had very hot track conditions. Sun was out. Track was really slick, so we didn't see the best, probably, laps that these cars could make. But today, perfect conditions.
So we can tell what happened here. Oh, he's already up the hill.
I'm loose.
Bad.
And that knocks things askew. Tough break for Cody Ware.
You know, guys, we've only run about 5 or 6 laps, but we only have 15 drivers on the lead lap, and they have 4 sets of tires. I don't know that the front guys will come, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised somewhere back there around Logano, Suarez, Kurt Busch. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see them maybe come and get 4 fresh tires. Here comes Jimmy Johnson dragging the rest of them with him.
Johnson coming in with Logano and Stenhouse. Just 3 drivers, and William Byron elect to pit. 4 drivers out of 15 on the lead lap. Vince?
Well, much similar to what it's been throughout the course of the day. The start of that run for Jimmy Johnson just a little bit too tight, as you see the right side tires going on. 4 tire change and air pressure for Jimmy. Jamie?
Joey Logano in the 22 is running 8th, but when that caution came out, he said he had a vibration, and he was pretty sure it was on the front end, so they wanted to pit no matter what. So they're putting 4 tires on. You see him wipe the grill there.
So they will restart from 12th on back as we are under caution with 145 to go. Let's check in on the Coca-Cola family of drivers. Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano on the lead lap. Kyle Larson, your pole sitter, 19th. Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon, and Ryan Newman spent a lot of time in the garage changing out a wheel stud, but is back out there. Coming up, click your heels together. We go to Kansas next week, Saturday night, May 12th, under the lights. And then to Charlotte for the All-Star race, Saturday night, May 19th. And the Coca-Cola 600, the annual Memorial Day celebration of racing, on Sunday, May 27th.
Hey, Mike, I think that All-Star race is going to be something to behold.
Our supercomputer Bernie has picked 2 of the last 3 winners. How's he doing today? 5th, 4th, and 1st are his top 3. Kyle Larson, of course, started in the back, had a few issues, but
that's a lot of top 10s.
Most of the top 10 right there.
Bernie's pretty smart.
Well, and Bernie's got Mark Truex Jr. up there at the top. It's going to be interesting to continue to follow.
They will restart with 141 laps to go. Harvick and Keselowski, the 2 Fords out front, and Clint Boyer right with them. We're back under green.
I can remember we had to start on the outside and complain about it. And now that's the preferred line. These restarts, Mike, you got to get them while you can. You got them all bunched here in front of you. And it's so hard to pass. Get them while you got 4 tires on there, fresh ones.
Five drivers on the lead lap took tires coming from the back. Logano in 10th, Stenhouse 11th, Johnson 14th, and Byron 15th, and McMurray.
We saw this with 11 of Denny Hamlin. Earlier in the race, he was having the same issue. The car would just drift up the racetrack every time he tried to drive deeper into the corner. That opened up the door right now for Jimmy Johnson.
Matt?
Mike, Denny Hamlin just has been fighting a loose race car. In fact, he said he feels like the right side tires have 200 pounds of air in them. It's just ill handling. Bad.
Mike, this is what this concrete does to you. That constant bouncing, that pep, 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 pep that the tires go through, it builds pressures quicker than anywhere we go.
Now the 42 of Kyle Larson got tires. He is the first car 1 lap down, trying to claw his way back onto the lead lap, as is Jones.
I guess, you know, we hear Matt. Denny is not happy with that car. I don't understand why they didn't pit then. You know, pit and keep making adjustments on that race car.
Yeah, and Larry, to your point, this track of all tracks, when you run maybe 1 or 2 or 3 laps, the way it builds up those tires, like it changes completely when you go back green again if you don't come in and change tires.
Maybe they wanted to stay off of pit road, Larry.
Good point.
I'm just saying.
Good point.
Just saying.
Oh, I'm not going there.
10th place, Stenhouse passes Suarez, who did not get a good run up off the corner, and here comes Chase Elliott as well.
Up the door, the momentum of the 9 of Chase Elliott took advantage of that.
I know Chase has a good car. Watched him in practice yesterday. One of the best cars we saw in practice. I'm a little bit surprised he hadn't been closer to the front.
Well, he's first in class, Darrell. He's the best of the Chevrolets right now.
And Mike, I mean, look at that. Look at our scoring pile. All Fords and 2 Toyotas.
One thing about Brad Keselowski, he is a student of the sport. He's been watching, observing, and now talking about the line that Kevin Harvick's using around the track.
See how Harvick runs a touch higher than you do. I don't know if it's helping him or hurting him, but he's puts that rubber there. I don't know, but I want to 10 slower doing that, so I don't want to do that. 10-4?
Mike, just think back to Atlanta. Remember how Kevin Harvick dominates Atlanta because he runs a line that nobody else can run? Doing the same thing again today.
This battle has been intense for quite a few laps. Boy, I really question this call by Chad Knaus to bring that 48 down pit road. Vince, what do you have on pit road?
Well, they were hoping that more would come behind them to pit. So they were hoping to pull some others. Chad Knaus was when they came down pit road on that Jimmy Johnson stop. They put 4 tires on it, put some tape on the grill, trying to help him with the handling. But really the key was they didn't get all those coming down the pit lane behind him that they were hoping.
And this is amazing. Right now, he's almost a half a lap down to our leader.
Well, Logano was the first of the cars to restart with fresh tires, and he has come from 12th to 9th. But still, tough sledding getting any further.
And I just look up to that point when they chose to come down pit road. They had executed it. Oh, we got a problem with the 18 car.
Slowing front straightaway.
Broke. Stay up top on the wall here. Stay up until I tell you to get down. Just run the top through here.
He complained about that car early in the race having a vibration. He wasn't sure what it was.
Just keep dragging it up top.
No caution yet.
Still pretty full here.
Still green.
Here, pedal it. You down on the pit lane this time.
Boy, big conveyor belt. They're going to have to wait till after Reed Sorensen, that black car, and then he'll be able to get to pit road.
Oh, yellow, after this black one.
Right
Come
now.
on, down.
Might be fluid on the racetrack. That's why the caution waves at lap 272 for Kyle Busch. He was third when that car broke. Vince?
Well, Kyle Busch told us early in the race, almost from the drop of the green flag, that he had a drive shaft vibration. We didn't hear much from him after about midway through that first stage. They're taking it to the garage. Kyle says it's the drive shaft.
A lot of fluid on the back bumper cover of Kyle Busch, it looks like. And here's your leader going in there.
Whoa. Well, that was ugly.
Was that him trying to avoid it, or was that him?
I think it was him in it.
Yeah,
I think it was in it.
Now, boy, this may change things. We were just getting ready to talk about the 48 coming down pit road and some of those others that took tires that last caution. Larry, what's this going to do to that?
I just believe they all have to come, Jeff. I mean, we're seeing quite an advantage with fresh tires. They've run 12 laps. All those drivers that stayed out, that means they've got 17 laps on their tires.
That's
a drive shaft.
There's the drive shaft, and he was right.
Something broke.
Takes a lot to break that.
Pit road is open, Matt.
Kevin Harvick said he almost spun twice going through the fluid that came from the 18. No chassis adjustments on the Ford. Meanwhile, his teammate Clint Boyer was saying the car's still on the free side. Jamie.
And Matua Brad Keselowski said there was a lot of oil, especially going into turn 1. His car right now feels pretty good. They've been adjusting on it. They're calling for perhaps 2 tires here. We'll see if they call an audible and take 4, but right now it's 2 tires for the 2.
And looking at that piece of drive shaft and the rest that was missing, I wouldn't be surprised if they broke the gear carrier in the rear end, and that was rear end grease down in the corner.
I think you're right. Transmission, gear, something, because that thing it's hard to break that drive shaft like that.
Keselowski wins the race off pit road with 2 tires. Same for his Penske teammate, Joey Logano. And this could be the 4th DNF in 5 spring Dover races for Kyle Busch. The season so far, Austin Dillon, a last lap bump and run to win Daytona. And then Kevin Harvick reels off 3 wins in a row. Martin Truex breaks through. Clint Boyle never let go of that clock. And then Kyle Busch hits 3 in a row before Joey Logano comes through at Talladega. Well, Kyle Busch, Jamie, in his last 9 Dover races does not have a top 10.
And he ends his day early in the garage. And Kyle, you talked about that vibration early on in this race. Any indication, anything that led to it to begin with?
Oh, yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse the more the day was going, especially after restarts. It was really, really bad. So I was just trying to bite it out, see if we'd make it to the end. At first I thought it was an engine problem, but that wasn't the case. It was certainly in the drivetrain, something else. And, this isn't very popular of a failure for us, so we have an idea. I already know what was wrong, but we got to go back to the shop and kind of diagnose and figure out why it was wrong and kind of go from there. But the Pedigree Camry was good. It was top 3 car. I felt like barring some different clean air circumstances, and different restart lines and stuff, I felt like I could get up there and race with the 4 or the 2. But as bad as that vibration kept getting throughout the race there, it was just too hard to handle. And finally it threw the shifter knob off the shifter, and there was even when it broke, I could just push the clutch in. I couldn't even grab the shifter in order to get it knocked out of gear or anything like that. It was so hard, so vibrating so badly. So we'll go on next week.
Good effort while it lasted. Let's go to the Hollywood Hotel. Here's Chris and Michael.
All right. Thanks, Jamie. And with Michael Waltrip, just a recap here, the pole sitter Kyle Larson had some pre-race inspection issues, had to start at the back.
Yeah, they talked about needing to adjust that car, work on the front end of that car, something in inspection NASCAR didn't like. They went through several times, relegated him to the rear.
Martin Truex, the flat tire here, coming to pit road, running second, fell a lap down, has worked himself back up into the top 10. Kyle Larson under green goes a lap down, uncontrolled tire, but just got the free pass.
Yeah, that's a fast car. They've really improved that race car all day long. Harvick won his 2nd stage today, but I'm telling you, Chris, this is going to be an interesting restart. We had this caution with Kyle Busch's drive shaft flying out of that car, putting oil all over the racetrack, and our first 6 cars are on differing strategies. You see Push showing there. Stenhouse and McMurray, no tires here. And then 3rd and 4th, Keselowski and Logano, they both got 2. Our first car with 4 tires is Kevin Harvick, but he's going to be pinned down on the inside. Boyer up on the outside. I like that 14 car. It's been getting faster all day long. I think we can see some really good racing on this restart.
And the 4 car Kevin Harvick this year already has driven for the cycle, winning both stages and then the race. He did that in Las Vegas. The only other driver in history to do it, Martin Truex Jr., who's done it 3 times. So the tire strategy, aren't 4 tires usually always a good option?
They are, and if you get those 2 tires, you hope to have cars between you, stacked behind you with 2 tires so you can get away. But the way it's set up right now, there's two tires in the 2nd row, no tires in the front row, and then those 4 tires from 5th on back. I think they're going to have a big advantage, but watch Martin Truex. He was as fast as Harvick all day long, catching back up. He's there now. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, again, Chevy hasn't led a lap. Actually, neither has Toyota. You talk about Truex. It's been all Ford. 4 drivers of Ford leading all the laps today. They've led the most laps this year. 2 big games this week here on FS1. On Thursday, rookie sensation Shohei Ohtani and the Angels host the Twins. He's pitching, he's hitting, he's doing it all, and Pujols just hit the 3,000 hit mark. And then Saturday, Bryce Harper leads the Nationals in the matchup with the Diamondbacks. You can catch it on FS1 or streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Quick correction that Bowman did lead some laps for Chevrolet. Toyota has yet to lead today. 4 drivers, the other 3 dominating as we take a look under this recent caution. 121 laps to go. Let's head back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. Tony Stewart up on top of the hauler talking with his 4 teams. We heard him earlier. He's had success here. And I was talking about Kyle Busch. I meant his last 8 spring races at Dover. Yeah. He does not like Dover in springtime. No top 10s. Fall, he's been very good. Tony Stewart was very good here at Dover. And I wonder, now are we going to see the real Kyle Larson? He spent 15 laps of this race, 2 laps down, 150 laps, 1 lap down, and now he gets the free pass, and Kyle Larson, our pole sitter, is back on the lead lap.
Well, we know that, anytime you have a car that's not right and you give enough pit stops, you get to work on it a little bit, you can turn that car around. I think they may have done that. I don't know if he has a car that can contend up here with the 2 and the 4 and the, even the 48 and those guys, but he's got a better car than he had when he started this race for sure.
Yeah, I think he's going to need a few breaks to get the track position to get up there to race with them. Sort of like what we saw with our leaders right now. They stayed out. We got the guys with 2 tires behind them. That's about the only option I see for Kyle Larson to be able to get up there. And even then, he's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage, not just on tires, but his car's not been as good as some of the others today.
1 to go. Toyota top performers include Martin Truex in 8th place, Daniel Suarez currently 10th, Denny Hamlin 13th. They're all on the lead lap. Eric Jones is the first car 1 lap down.
And Michael was right. This is a mixed bag on tires. And I tell you, if you got 4 tires and some guy in front of you doesn't have it, you're going so much faster than he is. Sometimes you make a mistake and run over somebody. We got to watch for that.
As we get ready to go green, how about a quick word from Duracell?
This is the #1 trusted brand.
Yeah, we're going to focus on our Duracell Driving Trust with the 9-team Chase Elliott, Alan Gustafson. This is their 3rd year together. Remember, they made the playoffs last year, finished 5th in the points. They have 3 poles together, and of Chase's 8 second-place finishes, Alan Gustafson was on the box for 7 of them, and Alan has 20 Cup wins with 3 different drivers. I think we all agree their Duracell Driving Trust will eventually get them to victory lane.
Sure will. How about this restart? The front row did not stop for tires. Stenhouse and McMurray, Keselowski and Logano behind them. Good launch for Stenhouse.
Something that happens when you have those older tires, they pick up a lot of that rubber. It takes a couple laps to clean them off. That'll give even more of an advantage to those with fresher tires.
Yeah, I just saw it like Kevin Harvick. He's pinned down on the inside, and that outside lane is going, and he can't go. He was stuck behind the one car, and that cost him dearly. That one car just can't go anywhere, and he really is back in that inside line up.
Well, Harvick finally got to the outside, was able to make, no, not quite even.
No, he hadn't got by yet.
Than one yet.
Once they sort it out a little bit, the one car does have a bit of advantage running that bottom line.
Well, he's getting frustrated with the one in McMurray.
Oh, yeah, he's holding him up. He won't hold him up long, I guarantee you.
Clint Boyer right on the bumper of Logano, makes his move. Back straightaway, looks low. Not going to be there. There we go. Logano moved up just a little, but he did so to get the good run off turn 4.
Yeah, gave him just enough room, not enough to let him complete the pass, just enough to get there. Do the same thing over here off of turn 2, but I think Boyer's finally got the advantage. Maybe he'll have it by the time they get to turn 3.
How about Ricky Stenhouse, qualified 5th, spent a good bit of this race down in the 11th through 20th position, and now he has rocketed away.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the way, our leader, Ricky Stenhouse, he's yarded everybody else. I mean, he's way out there ahead of Clint Boyer. And the thing about Stenhouse, you never know what line he's going to run. He'll run the bottom a little bit. He'll sail her in there and go up high and diamond the corner off. I don't think he has a really set line around this track. He just goes where the car feels good, where it's fast.
He's fast out there right now. Look
at him. He goes
that
up.
Diamond, yeah.
Put a little diamond in it.
A little wiggle with the back of the car. He's pushing hard. Wants that clean air. Wants to hold on to it as long as he can.
The only laps that Stenhouse has ever led at Dover were 3 laps in this race 1 year ago.
Only a 10th slower than second place Clint Boyer that last time by.
Yeah, but you know, that 17 in the last couple of weeks has been pretty darn good. He came off a great run at Bristol. He came off a great run at Talladega. Car's been getting better.
Top 5, 2 of the last 3 races. Stenhouse. Well, boy, that front row sure had mixed fortunes on the restart. Stenhouse took off. McMurray on the bottom couldn't get going, but holds on to 8th place right now.
I think this battle is really important here between Kevin Harvick and Mark Truex Jr. Both on the same tires. They're trying to get by the 22, but I'm telling you, if Truex can get and stay ahead of this 4-car Kevin Harvick. We've seen where his car can compete with Kevin Harvick on those longer runs as far as lap times.
Harvick just seems to have a car that he can go the bottom when he has to, but he can go around that outside really nice too and get a great run down these short straightaways.
Truex really struggling right here. Doesn't seem to have quite the pace, or it looks like his car's tightened up on this run, especially being so close behind the 22 of Logano.
I think part of that, Jeff, too, is when you got the 4 car, you know he's fast, and you're driving a little bit harder, your car reacts a little bit differently.
And the ceiling has finally come up enough for us to see our blimp coverage. How about some Clint Boyer radio? That's always entertaining.
It must not be under the watchful eyes of experts like you in NASCAR. Name that line.
My favorite movie, Six Pack.
You think Kenny Rogers?
Kenny's a man, know when to hold 'em.
Well, that's a gambler.
I hope that was during caution. And it was.
You and me both.
It was.
I was going to say, what does that have to do with the race?
Does it matter?
Not with Boyer, it doesn't. You never know where he's going to go.
13th place race here. Almirola, Hamlin, and Byron. Matt?
Fresh tires paying off. Boyer's knocking off a 10th to 2/10 a lap on the 17 of Stenhouse as he works him over. Spotter Brett Griffin told him, make sure you take care of that right rear, because the previous 2 runs, Boyer had been battling a really free race car and just trying to hold on to it. Now on the inside.
Ricky Stenhouse spotter.
Here by half, nice and smooth.
Tell you one thing, if you're going to pass him, it'll be coming off the corner. It won't be going in, because Stenhouse will carry that thing in there further than anybody.
Stenhouse has found a line that works for him.
Well, and it's making it really difficult for Clint Boyer to complete that pass. I mean, you can see the difference in lines right around the bottom next to the apron. Oh, it looks like the 17 had a little bit of a bobble, and the 14 really rolled the bottom that time to almost get ahead of Ricky Stenhouse. It's just a matter of time. It's just how hard do you push it right now?
Yeah, Boyer's going to have to be a little patient here. He's got a better car. You just got to find the right opportunity here. That'll come.
And you see right there, Stenhouse went too wide last time through 3 and 4. This time he moves down a little bit.
Did I say patient with Clint Boyer?
I asked Clint this morning.
As he
takes the lead, I asked Clint this morning if their preparation or their race plan had changed now that they have a win in their pocket. They said, no, we're here to run and win races, and we're going to win as many as we can. Doesn't matter how many wins we have. Each week we unload trying to win this race. Now, Joey Logano right between the 2 battles you've been watching. Kind of in the rocking chair in 3rd, Jamie.
He wants to take that lead, Mike. I was talking to Joey and his crew chief, Todd Gordon, this morning, and they said, we were watching practice yesterday, and we heard Mike Joy say, we have only led 3 laps here. Well, that's a reality check. So Joey laughed. He said, besides wanting to win the race today, my goal is to double my laps led here. So having a little bit of fun with it. But Logano, last stop to right sides only. This is the best he's been all day.
You know how many people knew he had only led 3 laps here, Mike? You and him.
Our stat boys, and yeah.
Stat boys, I mean, they're the ones that figured that all out, but he knew he hadn't led but 3 laps here, too.
And him, that's right.
Right.
How about Martin Truex in 4th place, coming up on Joey Logano, trying to break up that Ford threesome.
42's the first on the bottom in front of me. Yeah, he's looking in the mirror, dude. Boy, you know he's going to do it. That's all he can do.
I mean, that's part of racing here at Dover. It's so hard. Track position so important. Aerodynamics means so much. We talked about this earlier. So that's his job, is for Logano, is to run those tracks and keep as much dirty air on that 78 of Martin Truex as possible.
Kurt Busch makes that pass for 8th on Jamie McMurray. Now, speaking of Truex, he's in 4th place. He's the leading Toyota in the race. And so far, Toyota has not led a lap today. If they fail to lead, it'll be the first time since Atlanta a year ago March that a Toyota has not led at least a lap.
Mike, you're going to have to get some giddy up to beat those Fords today, because, I mean, here they are. What are they running? 1, 2, 3 right now. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of them in top 10.
I'm just so impressed with Joey Logano on those 2 tires, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. not coming in at all. I mean, that is showing a lot of strength right now, and to be able to maintain that track position against some really fast cars.
97 laps to go. Clint Boyer leading. We'll take you side by side.
What is a trophy, gentlemen? Something to put on the mantle.
Today's the day, boys. Cannot believe it.
It's why we're here.
You are the champion, baby!
Good. It's exactly why we're here. But there could be trouble. Now get out there and grab yourselves a trophy.
Toyota, let's go places.
My burger goes best with mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Medium rare, gotta be all done.
Grass-fed beef.
No, corn-fed.
Can I have a turkey burger? What? I like my burger with the Coke.
Strictly with a Coke.
I'll agree to that.
Ahoy! Y'all hungry for some KFC? Try my extra crispy tender $20 fill-up, guaranteed to satisfy a family of 4. Good luck!
Are we rescued?
It's extra crispy good. As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you.
Being a kid is all about freedom. The freedom to play. Freedom of new experiences. And the freedom for all kids under 12 to get into any NASCAR Xfinity Series or NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race for free. It's good to be a kid.
Bring any kid under 12 to any NASCAR Xfinity Series or NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race, and they get in free. Visit NASCAR.com/KidSticks to learn more.
Section 233, row 1.
Truex Jr. wins!
You get a seat, but we doubt you'll ever use it. Grab your seats at NASCAR.com/tickets today.
90 laps to go. Clint Boyer leading Ricky Stenhouse, Joey Logano, Harvick, Truex, and Keselowski. Time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch. Jeff?
Well, it's a bit of a hometown race for a 2-time winner here at Dover. Martin Truex Jr. rebounding from a flat right front tire earlier in this race. Nobody's passed more cars than him, but he's going to have to pass a few more to get the win today.
Jeff, Brad Keselowski has not won a non-restrictor plate race in over a year. Now, every driver out there has to make at least one more pit stop. That 2 crew has been money all day.
Hey, look, my guy started on the front row. He's won the first 2 stages. Kevin Harvick goes to victory circle today for his 4th win this year.
I just like the dirt racer from Kansas. This track reminds me of a big dirt track. You look around for grooves, you run low, you run high. Boyer is dialed in now. Remember, late at Martinsville, he took over that race and dominated the finish. I think he does the same thing here today.
Penske won today in the IMSA race at Mid-Ohio, so concrete crab cakes, cornflakes, Connecticut. That's where Joey Logano's from, in case you didn't know. Kevin Harvick up to second, behind Boyer, 3.3 seconds back.
Yeah, I mean, I think this shows how strong Kevin Harvick is. He's the only one of those cars further back that's been able to pass the 22 and the 17, and now he's going to try to run down his teammate.
Jimmy Johnson ran out of patience with Jamie McMurray and helped Jamie over into another lane.
Wow, man, that's a lot of help right there.
That's something we see at Martinsville, not at Dover.
He booted him out of the way.
Start to see where Stenhouse really starting to pay the price on those older tires.
Yeah, it's it. You can hang on for a little while, but those newer tires are going to prevail.
Martin Truex in fourth there, Jamie.
He's had a tough 4 weeks, Mike. He's had 3 wrecks. They're calling caution on track.
And that is Mother Nature. At lap 315, the rain that had been expected to develop in the area sometime after 2 o'clock, when our chances of racing were 55%. They've gotten a little worse since then. And the umbrellas are up as the pace car picks up the field. Jamie?
And I can feel the raindrops falling down here. I'll just continue on Martin Truex Jr. It has been a tough 4-week stretch. They've crashed in 3 of the 4. They just want to have a solid finish, and the car is pretty good, but he's gotten really tight on the entry to the corner and the exit, so they'll take some adjustments here.
The Delmarva Peninsula, incorporating parts of all of Delaware and parts of Maryland and Pennsylvania, very, very flat. No tall land masses, not a lot of tall buildings to break up storms as they come across. Just pretty much sweeps through, and most of the rain you can see has missed us today.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even really show up on the radar, but it is here, folks, I promise you.
Yeah, it might be flat everywhere else, but it's not flat here, I can tell you.
Doppler, your radar is broken.
You're fired.
Yep. Oh, we have a Doppler, not a Doppler radar. That's a...
But boy, guys, I mean, all right, we kind of saw in the distance that rain coming. It's not showing up on the radar. What do you do as a pit crew, or as a crew chief? Do you come? Do you not come? Do you play the rain game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how Clint Boyer and that group can come to pit road. I mean, if you pit, you're banking on this track going back racing. And what I'm seeing with the radar, this track dries quick. We should go back racing.
You know what I hope, Larry? I hope NASCAR closed pit road so I don't have to make that decision.
And they have. Yeah, pit road is not open. Can we turn on the 14 radio? Because Clint Boyer has got to be singing in the rain.
Rain,
already talking about Kenny Rogers.
Yeah. I hope this is a brief shower, but as we look off to the west, to the trees out behind the Casino Hotel, we can see it raining pretty heavily out past Delaware State College. Never had a rain-shortened race here.
Wow.
Going back to 1970. There you can see the effects of the low-hanging clouds and the rain in the distance.
Well, I must say, I want to be optimistic, and I think we're going to go back racing. But we've seen some things this year that we've never seen before.
I think that there are a lot of people who might be surprised we got this much in. Got us all the way to lap 318. But as we said, at race time, the forecast was 55% racing.
Yeah, I mean, one reason I'm quite sure they have kept pit road closed is they are concrete pits, and they become slick in a hurry.
So the tower checking with NASCAR officials up and down pit road, and everybody out there not moving the leaves, but trying to keep that area dry where the car will brake to a stop.
After seeing that saw last week that the 78 team had, I was surprised we don't see some kind of massive blower out here today to dry the pit stalls.
Now I've saw Zoll after that one.
Yeah.
Obviously, that paint that they put down on those pit stalls is very slick. They want to get that dried off. And it's as much for these pit crew members and their shoes gripping to it as much as it even is the tires for the drivers.
Now, I don't know if it's legal or not, but if I were down there, I would have me some tarps I could put over my pit stall.
All right, so this time by, pit road will remain closed. However, NASCAR is going to bring the cars down pit road and bring them to a halt so that they can get Air Titans, track dryers, everything they have out there to keep some heat and dryness in the racing surface.
Yeah, you can see
our aerial coverage, I believe, will be leaving us shortly as the ceiling comes down.
You better be out doing a rain dance.
Oh, baby.
Somebody asked me this morning, who's the most entertaining interview in the garage area? There is no question. Clint Boyer leads the league by a wide margin. Rain on the lens as they bring them down. Clint Boyer 0 for 190 before winning at Martinsville earlier this year, and may be on his way to his second win in 6 races. We'll see what Mother Nature says. Let's go back to Martinsville. Snowed out on Sunday. Mother Nature must like Clint Boyer. She had him all set up for Monday. Get underneath Ryan Blaney there and then take off on this restart against Kyle Busch. Boy, the racing was fun, but the celebration was even better. Son Cash comes running down pit road to greet Dad. And now he's got one of Clay Campbell's grandfather clocks to wind after breaking a 190 race victory drought.
And we saw a picture of Tony Stewart there a little while ago. Tony Stewart's pretty smart guy to want to bring Clint Boyer over to drive that race car.
Fun day for the kids in Dover, and they've had a chance to watch some really good racing. Let's hope we've got some more in the offing.
It's to the Tri-Ovals in Kansas. But first, on NASCAR Race Up, we recap all the excitement from the Monster Mile with Radioactive. Brad Keselowski, Drew Blickensderfer, and Chad can now stop by the studio to break down all the week's action. We'll get to know one of NASCAR's hottest young racers, Noah Gragson. Plus, we'll take a look back at the life-changing year it's been for Stewart-Haas Racing's newest driver, Eric Almirola. That's all next week on NASCAR Race Up. Weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
Glad you're watching FS1, and the hub of racing stalled because of weather at the Monster Mile here in Dover, Delaware. There's your leader, Clint Boyer, with a guy who's won the first 2 stages today, Kevin Harvick. The red flag is out with 80 laps to go because of rain in the area. Quick recap with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, pole sitter Kyle Larson. Pre-race inspection issue had to start at the back.
Yeah, Kyle was talking that he didn't like his car yesterday. They worked it over, must have done some things that NASCAR didn't like. But this is a big story early. Clint Boyer broke an air hose, went all the way to the back. But Chris, when he got in the back, he was fast, and he was able to fight through to the front.
Martin Truex Jr., the tire problem, they had to come to pit road, actually went a lap down and has since made that up. Kyle Larson had to come to pit road under green, penalized for an uncontrolled tire, also went a lap down.
You saw that tire rolling out into pit road. That is a penalty, and NASCAR called it on him. Kevin Harvick, dominant, taking stages 1 and 2.
And 130 laps to go. Kyle Busch, and Toyota, has not led in this race. Busch, who has 3 wins this year, drivetrain, complaining about it early in the day and kind of said we weren't going to make it. He was right.
From the word go, he said that car wasn't right. You could see the drive shaft laying there on the racetrack.
Kevin Harvick has led the most laps, followed by Brad Keselowski. 24 laps led for your leader at the moment, Clint Boyer, who last season led a total for the entire year, 22 laps. He already has a win in the bag, and now 284 laps led this season.
And that restart, we talked about it when we had our break earlier, was the key to his success. He was able to restart on the outside, had Kevin Harvick down on the bottom. The outside lane went. Boyer took advantage of that. Martin Truex as well. It put Kevin Harvick back in a bind, and while he's fought through 2 seconds, it just was enough to give Boyer the edge that he needs.
Yeah, and Boyer entertaining. He was in the Walk for Autism this week. He played in the golf tournament when the weather was nicer this week. A couple of weeks ago, he brought his dog to the dog show we did out at Texas Motor Speedway, and he's leading the race right now under a rain delay at the moment. Let's check in. He's with Matt Yoakum.
Chris, we've certainly seen it all so far today for Clint Boyer. The air hose issue early on, had to restart at the back. Kenny Rogers trivia and 6-pack. And also, you're asking your teammates on your crew to do a rain dance. And I got to confirm, I passed by their pit. They were all hunkered under for cover.
Well, hopefully that means it's just, I mean, it's pretty doom and gloom here. Now, I mean, who knows? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It does kind of look, it's weird up here. I mean, I don't know. We've been here and this stuff clears out up here, and you've been here and been socked in all day. It just seems like up here in this part of the country, it's always kind of, if it comes in like this, sometimes it socks in, sometimes it doesn't even paint on the radar. But what a day. Adversity, back and forth, had trouble on that first pit stop, went to the back, got back up through them. I've had a lot of fun with Kevin this weekend. He's been talking the trash this weekend. He out-qualified me. He was faster in first practice, and he was rubbing that in bad. So hopefully, if it does rain this thing out, that's old karma catching up to him. We've had a lot of fun this weekend. It's a lot of fun being a part of this group, this Haas Automation Ford, and everybody's Fords. It's just a ton of fun to be a part of this organization and this 14 team in particular.
Well, you've played golf, you've walked, you've done so much this week, and then you could really walk away with another win. I mean, and some people will talk about your issues with Harvick there, the fun, the tomfoolery. That's what's having a teammate and being in the situation that you're in now is really what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody that pushes you harder than him. It's been that way the better part of my career. You know, I learned when I got my start back in the RCR days, it was learning from him and testing and things like that in the Xfinity Series, and then on into the Cup Series, going to test for him and being at tests and stuff like that. So I used to be the better guy here, and then he got really, really good here, and he's super fast. But hopefully, if it keeps raining, we'll beat him, and if it doesn't, we're going to try like hell to beat him on the racetrack.
Now, Harvick has a golf hole in his backyard that is a carbon copy of, I believe, the 13th at Augusta. Now, this week, you had an opportunity. Take a look at the screen here. Kind of give us, I don't know, give us a look at that form. How would you grade that?
I don't even know how to grade it. I don't know anything about golf. So here's the thing. When Artie Kempner invites you to a golf tournament for such a great cause, that Drive For Autism thing that they do up here each and every year, they just do such a good job of raising not only awareness but huge amounts of money each and every year that we come back and do that. It makes you proud to be a part of it, and it's all because of him. And when he leans on us, that's not a question of, well, I wonder what the schedule looks like or anything else. I'll figure it out, and I'll be there, Artie.
It's such a fantastic golf tournament for such a wonderful cause, but I'll give you a suggestion. So for next year, I think you need a little bit more Arnold Palmer swing kind of move.
Once again, I have no idea what that looks like. I don't know anything about golf.
We'll get him a book and a video, Vince.
With Martin Truex Jr., been a frustrating 4 weeks, and joking with Martin and said, at least it's going better than the last 4 weeks have gone, but we're not done yet. We're not done yet. You had a flat tire early. You recovered from that. Seems like you've got speed, but how would you characterize how the race is going for you?
The car's pretty good. By ourselves, we're just really tight on exit. So bad in traffic. That equals bad in traffic here. So just struggling to get by guys. And I can run really fast by myself, but I get to them and I can't do anything with them. So we've tried a lot of stuff to make it better, and haven't really been able to make a dent in it. So just got to get some track position in the pits, hopefully, and if we can get out front, we'll have a shot at it.
It seems like the rain is subsiding here and probably going to get back to racing. Are you optimistic that you can make the changes that be able to allow you to be a little more racy, or is that something you're going to have to live with?
Yeah, I don't know. We've tried a few different things already today, and we haven't really been able to change it at all. So we're gonna keep trying, that's for sure. I'm not sure we can get that thing just completely how I want it without going to the garage and working on it, but we'll see. We'll keep trying, and we won't quit till the end.
Put that on Cole Pern's list of things to do. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski's had a pretty solid day, led 108 laps, sitting 5th right now. What do you think, Brad? Do you feel like you guys have done a good job keeping up with the changing track conditions today?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like our last run or two has been our best run. We're on 2 tires there, and we were able to keep up pretty well. So, I just want to get 4 tires on and get back to the front and race them hard. We've got a great pit stall and a great pit effort. So we lost some track position on that restart. And we got the bottom lane, and the inside front lane just didn't go, and the whole bottom lane backed up, 3 or 4 rows. So lost our track position, just kind of luck of the draw. But I feel like we can get it back and have a shot at the 14 and the 4 look to be the 2 best cars. But, hopefully we can steal one if we'll go by green.
How about your pit road crew? They've been lights out all day long. Talk a little bit about, from your vantage point, this pit road and how narrow it is and what these guys are up against, and they're doing a great job at it.
Yeah, it is one of the most challenging pit roads, Jamie. I think, we got a pretty big advantage because early on the 42 had its issues, and so we had to straight out. And on a narrow pit road, you can really save a lot of time accelerating straight out of the box instead of having to, zigzag. So that was worth a little bit, and of course the team was doing an excellent job as well.
All right, we'll hopefully see you back in the race car shortly. Matt?
Jamie, there are certain drivers that just when they hit the concrete, they certainly take to it at Bristol or here at Dover or even at Martinsville with the concrete corners. And for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., that can be said as well. Fourth at Bristol in the spring, and if you look at your history here, you've had some good runs in the top 10, but really just a tone start by qualifying on Friday for you.
Yeah, it's nice when you can start up front and have speed, the very first lap on the racetrack, and that's what we did this weekend. We only got 2 laps in our first practice on Friday, but our little Hug Fruit Barrels Ford was fast right off the bat, and always is nice and lets the weekend go a lot smoother when you have a good Friday. So starting 5th really set us up good for the race. I feel like, throughout the race we've had a top 10 to a top 15 car and everywhere in between there. So, we had just pitted a little bit earlier before that caution came out, so we decided to stay out, not use up another set of tires, and we were able to restart there, and I tried to gap myself as much as I could, knowing that those cars on 4 tires were going to be coming. And, I wish it would have rained really bad when we were leading. That would have been nice. But, all in all, I think, we gained a lot of track position doing that. If it goes back green, or we go back racing, everybody will pit, put on new tires, because we can all make it to the end on fuel. So, all in all, been a decent day for us, a decent weekend. Hopefully we can cap it off.
Decent day, looking for a great end of the day with a solid finish, possibly a win. Jamie? Vince?
With Jimmy Johnson, the 11-time Dover winner. Guys have been pretty sporty, it seems like, today. A little bit of pit strategy that may not have played out quite into your hand, but how do you feel like what kind of car you're going to have when we get back going here?
Yeah, all in all, it's been a really good day for our Los Pro Chevy. A couple restart lanes being in the wrong lane, and we pitted, and we expected a lot more to come, and they didn't, so we had to start back in the teens and start all over again. So it's a good driving car. I'm real happy with it. It's amazing how much faster I was when I was up in 3rd and 4th. Just had a half a second of speed on your side just due to the cleaner air. I hope to get back up there and have that speed back and have a shot at winning this thing.
When you've won here 11 times, what's the level of expectations for you as the driver when you come back here and you're kind of mired in that 5th to 10th spot?
It's fair to say they're pretty high. I just try to fall into a rhythm and go to that place that I know. And the car usually drives more efficiently that way, and I start moving forward. Just over the years, it's gotten so hard to pass, and the cars are so aero-dependent that, starting 19th as we did wasn't helpful, and then a couple other things that put us back haven't been helpful. So if we can get our Fridays sorted out and start closer to the front, we'll have much better finishes.
I'm not counting you out yet today.
Good, thank you.
Jamie?
Well, Kyle Larson had a lot of speed this weekend. He qualified on the pole, and then the news right before the race that they had failed pre-race inspection 3 times, so his car chief was ejected, and you had to move to the back and start there. What's your reaction when you get the news right before the race that you go from first to last?
I don't know. It's actually a little exciting. More fun to come from the back, I think, but we've been fast. We just had the uncontrolled tire, so we went 3 laps down. In the first stage, was able to get a lap back. And then we did the wave round. We were 1 lap down, and finally on the lead lap. So hopefully we can get racing again, and we can, I haven't really felt like I got to race anybody yet. We've been fighting for, Lucky Dog and stuff all race long. So I feel like our DC Solar Chevy is fast enough to compete for the win. We just, need to get some better track position now they're on the lead lap, and hopefully have a shot at it.
Well, we know your family's not here because baby number 2 is going to be here any day now. What's the latest there, and what is your game plan looking forward to next week?
Yeah, it's been good. Caitlin's been feeling great. Or at least I think she has. She might have a different opinion, but she gets checked up every Tuesday, so everything's been going good. I think we're going to have John Hunter on call for Kansas. May have him practice a little bit there to that way he's comfortable in it if we do happen to have him race on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day we race. And then once we get back to Charlotte, that should be fine with the All-Star race, and then hopefully have the baby before the 600.
All right, thanks so much, Kyle. Hopefully we'll see you back in the car. Matt?
Well, earlier we had a great example of Kyle Larson's swing, and Clint Boyer was talking about his swing as far as some trash talking that you've done. How would you describe Clint Boyer's golf?
Well, let's just put it this way. We played 18 holes one time, and he said, I want to bet you $100 a hole. I said, that's fine. I took $1,700 from him, but he did get me with an exploding golf ball that day, so neither one of us are very good.
Better swing, Keelan or Boyer?
Oh, Keelan for sure. Yeah.
You think Boyer should maybe listen to some, thoughts from Keelan about maybe how to work his swing better?
Well, here's the problem with golf, is it takes a long time to figure out what you need to do, and I don't know that we quite have the attention span necessary with Clint to properly learn how to play golf.
I'm following.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely got the drinking beer part down, so that always makes it fun, and it's always entertaining.
He said it started on Friday, a lot of trash talking from your part, trying to mentally take him out of his game, which that doesn't really take a whole lot. But just talk about how fast your car is compared to his.
Well, when we come to Dover and when I raced at RCR, Clint was always so good here, and I wasn't that good, and always used to try to do what he did, and he always beat me. And so when we got here this week, after every practice, I'd say you're 0 for 1, bud, 0 for 2. He was 0 for 5, and he finally beat me in happy hour there. And I got stuck behind a jammer car there on the restart, and he got away from me. So it'll be fun. And that's the good thing about having a teammate like Clint, is we can have a good time and cut up with each other and enjoy the competition with each other, because that's really when it gets good, is when you have a lot of respect, a lot of fun, and you're on the same team. That makes it progress pretty fast.
All kidding aside, how are you with your car where it stands now for the run to the finish? Because everyone will have to pit one more time.
Our Jimmy John's Ford is really fast. It's just a matter of what happens on the restart, where you come out on a pit stop, and how long it takes you to get around traffic. So it's hard in traffic, and it takes us several laps to get by somebody. So it'll all depend on the pit stop and where it all falls.
Thanks, Kevin. Vince?
With Joey Logano, you guys talking about having fun. I don't know anybody's having much more fun than Joey was last week at Talladega, celebrating in Victory Lane. Had your son there with you with the little Victory Lane celebration. How's the week been for you after finally getting that win?
You get really busy after a win a lot of times. We do a lot of things for the team. Went to dinner with the guys and their families, and we had a lot of fun. But it's only you get to enjoy it for a little bit, and then you got to go back to work, so it doesn't last very long. So it's nice to have that feeling of victory and playoff points that come along with it. And it was nice for a little bit. Now it's back to work.
At what point do you put last week behind and start thinking about this week?
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, it's just how this sport is, You can be on the top one week and the bottom the next, so you got to try to figure out a way to keep that momentum rolling. And we have a decent car today. We don't have the fastest car, that's for sure, but our Shell Penzo Ford is, we're plugging away at it. Todd had some great strategy that got us into the top 5 and the top 3 right now, but my tongue was hanging out that last run trying to hold those guys off. I'm sure they weren't so happy with me, but I was doing all I can just to try to maintain our track position.
Well, in a day like today, isn't the goal just to get everything out of the car that it's there, but not wreck it trying to get something it doesn't have?
Yeah, we're trying to get more than what we got right now, and we're
better be careful.
Even if we finish where we're at. But only 80 laps to go here. If we get some good pit stops and get ourselves in position, we've seen this race come down to some crazy stuff before. So if we can keep ourselves within the top 5, in the hunt, you never know what can happen.
That's right. You never know. That's why they run them. Jamie?
Well, his teammate Ryan Blaney, 7th on the board, and I talked to your crew chief, Jeremy Bullens, this morning, and he said, after the issues we had here last year in both races, our goal is just to finish this thing. But you've been top 10 all day. How has the car been?
Yeah, our car's been okay. We've been making gains on it throughout the day. The track's changed a lot, I think, throughout the course of the day, so that part has been pretty nice to try to adjust on it. But, I'm looking forward to going back green, trying to finish it out and get our car a little bit better to where it needs to be to hopefully drive up through there, see what we got.
It's been interesting track conditions, but I heard you say the other day, this is one of the toughest transitions you go through at this racetrack. How do you manage that here?
Yeah, it's tough. Your car goes through a huge change from the restart till 70, 80 laps into a run, and laying rubber down and trying to move around, find lines, and trying to adjust your track bar to doing what you need to do. So that stuff all kind of builds up. You want to try to prioritize where you need to be good at and how long of a run you think you're going to have, and try to adjust your car for that. So this is a tough racetrack. These concrete tracks are super tough when it comes to that, of how it lays rubber down and things like that. But Armenard's, Duracell, Ford Fusion's been okay, and we can just get a little bit better. I think we might have a shot to pick up a few more.
Good luck to you. Matt?
William Byron has quietly been turning in some impressive numbers. In fact, if you look at the last 7 races, 4 times he has finished 15th or better. You're currently running in the 16th position. How would you grade your progress so far? Everyone has expectations when the season begins.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly for us, we want to run where our teammates are running. I feel like we're a couple spots off that today. We had to go to the back a couple times, but just trying to find kind of the feel that we want to have so far. This guy. But mainly I feel like we're pretty close. We just got to go back green and make a couple adjustments. It's been tough all day. We've had to go to the back, and it's really tough to come back from that here. So we'll see what happens once we get dried up here and go back.
When you look at the notebook on William Byron, quickly instant success in the trucks. I believe you won your 4th race out. Not that much longer as far as Xfinity goes too. What do you attribute just you getting up to speed so quickly?
I think honestly you got to have that chemistry with your race team. That's something I'm still trying to kind of establish. I think our guys have done a really good job of getting closer each week, and I feel like we're closer each time we come back to a racetrack. So it's been fun this weekend. This is a really tough racetrack as a rookie. I feel like tougher than I kind of expected. Really enjoyed Richmond. That was a lot of fun, and I feel like hopefully we get back going green here and can pick off a few more guys. So we'll see, but it's been a solid day. It's just a long day here.
Rookie looking very solid so far, running 16th, Chris.
All right, thank you, Matt. And the jet dryers are out. Those 2 Fords have dominated. Boyer, your leader, followed by Harvick. 80 laps to go under a red flag, but the rain has let up here in Dover. Expert, of course, but you're estimating that, well, sort of. We have 7 Air Titans, 4 jet dryers. The rain has stopped. We should be able to go 15 or 20 minutes. Then these final 80 laps. Given where we are, who you've heard from, how do you assess the finish here?
I think everybody's shaking in their little driver boots about Kevin Harvick.
Really?
His car is so much faster than everyone else. Clint Boyer ran his fastest lap on lap 250. He ran about a 22.90. Harvick ran a 22.70. He's got the fastest car. It depends on how they come out of the pits. Remember, Chris, the reason why Harvick isn't leading the race right now is because he got stuck down on the inside. So if Boyer's team can get him that track position on off pit road, he could be tough to pass.
Yeah, and as been pointed out, obviously the pit crews at least one more stop, and then caution certainly will have an effect. That certainly could come into play here.
Well, when the green comes back out, or when we go yellow, they're going to come to pit road and get fresh tires. And if the caution comes out 20 laps later, they're going to do the same thing again. They're just that important. But as the laps wind down, these crew chiefs will start throwing Hail Marys like we saw Brian Patty do with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Got him that track position. Now he's running up inside the top 10. He's got his best running position of the day because of strategy. We'll see how that plays out.
And if somebody nabs one of those Hail Marys, who knows? But Ford, the top 3 spots, what is that, 6 or 7 of the 7 of the top 8 are Fords.
And that's been the story of the whole season. Remember a year ago we were talking about the Toyotas. They were off to a bit of a slow start with their new Camry. They rallied and had a great year, won the championship. Ford is starting so strong right now. Jimmy Johnson's having a nice run today in his Chevy.
Martin Truex currently 4th in a Toyota. Let's head upstairs to Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. Well, this track does not favor dark horses. In fact, you pretty much have to be a champion driver to conquer the Monster Mile. All the winners since 2009 here have won championships in NASCAR's Premier Series. Now, they talked about Fords. Fords have led more laps today than in the last 12 Dover races combined. Chris mentioned 7 out of the top 8 as Ford looks for its first win here since May 7 years ago that they've been to victory lane.
Yeah, what I've found in my experience is the more difficult the harder the track, the more difficult it is, the more experience pays off. I think that's why we see champions win this race all the time. I think that's why we see guys with experience run up front all the time. Younger guys, rookies, and so forth, they can challenge, but it's the older guy with the experience that always comes through.
Well, we are going racing. That is a definite. The rain has moved off. The jet dryers and the Air Titans are doing their work. What's it going to be like when we go back to green?
Well, it's definitely going to change. I mean, it didn't rain real heavy, but we've seen where the rubber goes away from this racetrack under caution. Those Goodyear tires pull it up. But I agree with Michael. I think this thing's going to be decided on pit road. You need to be in that outside lane, and you need to beat Kevin Harvick off pit road. Now, if the stats mean anything, Kevin Harvick still has the advantage, not only with his race car, but he's a past champion. I'm still telling you, don't count out Martin Truex Jr.
No, but you're right. Lane choice, or lane how you line up in that outside lane, that's going to be key to who gets away first. Well, a lot of the fans. Jeff still has a lot of fans here. He was inducted into the Track's Wall of Fame over at Miles the Monster here the other day. And
now that's a dedicated fan.
I like that.
There's just no describing that, is there?
Not really.
Great fans here at Dover. Let's get back down where the drivers are hanging out. Matt Yoakum.
And, Mike, one of the most impressive young men this year, especially in a Chevrolet, is Alex Bowman. He's led the second most laps in a Camaro, and he's had the best average finish for a Hendrick driver. But your day pretty much went upside down due to inspection, having to go to the back.
Yeah, starting in the back didn't help us any. We played some pit strategy and got the lead and led for a while on older tires, and we just had to pit there, and nobody else had to pit. So it just kind of got us off sequence, and just kind of been stuck 2 laps down, working really hard to try to make progress there, but just haven't been able to make it happen. So we have a decent race car. I feel like we're a easy top 15, maybe top 10 race car. Just hard to get that track position back.
Going back to places you've raced before, but if you look at Dover, you haven't been in a Cup car here since 2015, and things have changed so much. Is it still a learning experience because of that time from 15 to 18?
Absolutely. You know, a lot's changed here in the last couple of years, so just felt like I learned a lot from practice to the race, and I feel like I've been doing a better job. Just it's hard when that Nationwide 88 car is a couple laps down to get it back up there. So, like I said, we're trying really hard. We're going to probably take the wave here and stay out, but Greg's being creative up there, trying to find ways to make it happen. Just trying to do all I can and pass as many of them as I can.
Thanks, Alex. Chris?
Thanks very much. Next week, we'll be in Kansas. You'll see it on FS1 Saturday evening, 1-hour pre-race show. And before we head there, remember what happened a year ago with Eric Almirola driving in the 43 car, missed 7 races with a severe back injury and had to work through recovery. Said now he's been stronger than ever, at least approaching this year, and has had a good run in the 10 car. Remember how serious this was, had to be cut out of the car. And Jamie Little is standing by with Eric Almirola.
And it's been a great season for Eric Almirola, starting off with a brand new team. You guys don't have that notebook, but first and foremost, we saw that's been almost a year ago now since your big accident, breaking your back. How are you feeling? I know you golfed the other day.
Yeah, golfing probably wasn't the best idea. And believe it or not, this racetrack, with how rough it is, it actually does make my back sore. I've seen Lynn, the chiropractor, a couple of times this weekend already, but overall, I feel really good. I'd say 95%. You know, this track in particular is just really tough on the back, regardless of whether you broke your back or not. But you know, overall, it's been a good start to the season. We've had a good car today. The last couple runs we were really good, and then this past run we just lost a lot of grip for some reason. The car just not in the racetrack as good as it was the 2 runs prior to that. So we've fallen back out of the top 10. So Johnny's got a plan. We're going to come down pit road here and go to work and try and get our Smithfield Ford Fusion a little faster here for these last 80 laps.
All right, Eric Almirola was running top 10. He's 15th when we go green. Vince?
With Kurt Busch putting the heat shields on the feet before it gets going. We'll stand back up. Sitting 8th right now with 80 to go. Kind of assess your chances the rest of the way.
I think we have a really good car. A little sketchy in traffic, but with this pit stop and with 80 to go, it's perfect. We're in position for people to fumble, have a bad pit stop, and for us to take advantage. Even on the restart, for us to gain a couple spots there. You hope to always be in that top 6 to give yourself a shot at it. So thanks to Haas Automation, Monster, Ford. Right now I got a couple teammates up front. It's a good car. We just got to get there.
Good luck. Chris?
Thank you very much. And the covers are off. Drivers, like Clint Boyer, stressed out there, trying to hold on to the lead. He's 0 for 24 at Dover, but he's your leader with 80 to go, and they're going to finish this thing. The rain has stopped. The track is drying, and we're glad you're watching NASCAR from Dover on FS1. Pit crews will have to be on their game, so uncontrolled tire is not the problem. It's uncontrolled weather, but the rain that brought out the red flag has subsided. The track drying out. You see Denny Hamlin, one of the drivers, as there's Brad Keselowski, who has led the second most laps, over 108. Getting into their cars. Tony Stewart of Stewart Haas Racing with 80 to go in the Drive for Autism. Thanks for hanging in there with us, because the finish should be exciting. We saw Talladega, and Chase Elliott had some interesting comments afterwards where Fords were all there to protect each other. Logano with a Ford winning. Again, it's Fords leading the way here, having 7 of the top 8 spots.
Yeah, but Truex is there in his Toyota. Remember, he struggled from behind. They had a pit road issue early. He's able to fight his way back in contention. That means he knows what his car's like back in traffic, and he said it was too tight. That team can go to work on it, adjust it. He gets the right restart from the right spot. He could be really tough to beat here at the end.
It's been a while since Ford has won at Dover, and you have teammates in Boyer and Harvick, but then you've got Ford teammates that are Penske teammates in Logano and Keselowski. See how much they get along until it gets to the very end.
They're going to fight it out, Chris. Winning at Dover for Ford would be a huge accomplishment here today.
All right, let's head back upstairs. Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon, and Darrell Waltrip.
Thanks, Chris. The Air Titans finishing things up in turn number 2. And the jet dryers still at work up in turns 3 and 4. But remember yesterday in the Xfinity race, it came down to a battle of teammates. Justin Allgaier, Elliott Sadler, Allgaier in the 7. Last lap fighting for the $100,000 Dash for Cash bonus. And the little Gator gets the win and the $100 grand.
I didn't expect teammates to be quite that aggressive, but they were going for that $100 grand.
Great race, great finish. All 4 Dash for Cash races with the Xfinity Series regulars have been really thrilling. Ryan Preece, Elliott Sadler for a couple, and Justin Allgaier. Getting ready to roll, and yes, folks, thank you on Twitter, but I know that the Delmarva Peninsula has Virginia at the bottom. Pennsylvania's at the top. Must have been looking at the boarding pass for that plane that we're not going to catch in Philly today.
How do you as a crew chief make the right adjustments knowing that pace is going to pick up?
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing it with a lot of our drivers where their fastest lap has been run here within the last 100 laps or so. But I think it's really where, Jeff, you have to be creative and aggressive with air pressure changes. That's the biggest tool you have as a crew chief, air pressures, especially on this concrete surface.
You know what I worry about, Larry? Ice in the pit crew. I mean, they've been, you know, you're a crew chief. You've been going around saying, boys, this is a money stop. We got to nail this one. We got to nail this one. And it puts a lot of pressure on those pit crews to get it right. You ice the little pit crew a little while, might make a mistake.
Now, the rain that came, it's very plain, has been the benefit to Casey Kane.
Wow.
I love the way,
my
have you been
Dr.
thinking,
Seuss over here.
See what you've been doing for 39 minutes.
He gets the free pass, which doesn't rhyme with anything. But that's okay.
And he doesn't care.
Nope. He is back on the lead lap as of this pit stop.
Oh, look.
Einstein.
He's happy.
No, that's Ollie.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on.
No, we're standing next to Einstein.
Oh, stop it. Einstein, who can't put Pennsylvania north of Virginia.
I think we iced the broadcast.
Yeah. Rand McNally, line 2.
Oh, man, this is going to...
Well, this is the money
really,
stop.
yeah,
I mean,
totally.
clearly, this is the stop that puts you in a position to win, and it's not only on the pit crews, it's on the drivers to try to get to the end of pit road in an odd-numbered position.
Yes.
No, an even-numbered
yes.
position to restart on the outside.
Yeah, we could see them jumping on the brakes.
Too much math?
Overthought.
Too much math. We're overthinking it.
That's what happened.
We've had too much time.
Yep.
We're overthinking it.
Pits are still closed.
Guys, we know everybody has worked hard to keep their pit boxes dry, especially with the concrete surface. But looking here at the 78 pit box, right in front of them, it's where you turn into victory lane. and it has all that paint of white and black. They have to make sure that area right there is black too, because that will be really slick.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind sliding in there.
Well, after the race.
After the race.
Total of 41 minutes and 1 second for the red flag. 79 to go now. These are yellow flag laps. They are counting. We anticipate pit road opening next time. There is no track drying equipment on pit road at present.
Pit road is open. I just saw the green lights come on. Business is fixing to pick up.
So 17 cars on the lead lap.
God, this is so exciting. I mean, take a little break, take a deep breath, have a cup of coffee, and get ready for the finish.
Two of the fastest 3 4-tire stops today have been by Brad Keselowski and Paul Wolf's number 2 team.
Yeah, I just worry a little bit about that 42 car being back in the lead lap and in that number 1 stall, Matt.
Crew members have been standing on tires trying to get their shoes dry, also stretching to get back in the game. You can already see that Mike Moreno, Shrek, has already made the wedge adjustment on Harvick's car, trying to free him up. Meanwhile, the 14 of Boyer, they haven't made any changes. Shannon Myers hitting the lugs on the rear, and he's away, Vince.
Well, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson pitting from 9th place. Chad Knaus reminding him to clean up those tires, get them warm before he gets into the box. 4-tire change in fuel, Jamie.
The 22 of Joey Logano said he needed some help with that car if he wants to compete with the 2 front runners. The 78 of Martin Truex Jr. Air pressure adjustment only used extremely tight in and off. We'll see if that'll do the trick.
Here they come to the end of pit road, and Boyer will lead them out from Harvick, Logano, and Truex.
Keselowski had a bad stop. I'm not sure if it was because of the 42.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with the 42.
Whoop, nice save there.
Yeah.
Big lean over the wall to keep that tire from being uncontrolled.
And we saw in the 4 car a little bit of a bobble in the right rear. It slowed that stop down just a tiny bit.
Enough to cost him for Boyer to beat him out.
Lap cars pitting now. Only 4 cars out of this race. Kyle Busch, Cody Ware, Derek Cope, and Corey LaJoie.
Guys, it looked like the Keselowski crew had issues on the left rear, getting the tire on and off.
Yeah, it looked like it was a left side issue. I couldn't tell from here what it was.
He is. We'll check the position in a moment here. Came in 5th and came out 9th.
And
with the number 2.
And we've seen this year a couple of teams have had some issues with not getting the jack high enough on the left side to get that left rear on and off clean.
It's funny, Jeff, you said that, because I mentioned that to Larry. I said, we've seen that a lot. We've seen that several times on different pit crews where they just don't get the car high enough to get that tire out from under the car.
4 cars are positioned to take the wave around in front of race leader Clint Boyer. Landon Castle, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, and David Reagan. Here's Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, Chad Knaus.
Let's make an effort to try to be even exiting pit road. 4, 5, 6, 7. We're 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Mission accomplished.
Yes, sir. That's outside lane.
But 6th row. Joey Logano coming back in.
And that affects Jimmy Johnson. Now he'll be back to the inside lane.
Uncontrolled tire for A.J. Allmendinger. Although he's one of the cars a lap down, we're hearing it may be a loose wheel right front on Logano's car.
It was. I mean, the right front tire changer went to the lugs.
Yeah, and either he knew it or they went back. You saw he had a camera on that helmet. He can go back and review whether they got all those lug nuts tight.
So Ty Dillon, a penalty for removing equipment out of the pit box.
A little bit of trouble for the 2 and a little bit of trouble for the 22.
On the 13 Ty Dillon's car, they made a wedge adjustment and did not get the wrench out of the car. Had to come back in to retrieve it. So we'll restart with 75 laps to go. Fords on the front row, Toyotas row 2, Fords in row 3, Chevy, Toyota row 4, and Chevrolets to round out the top 10.
A lot of parity here at the front right now, much manufacturers.
Well, a lot of credit to that 19 pit crew. Put Suarez in that second row outside.
Got him up in front.
Green flag.
Nice start by the 4 car. He was real even with Boyer as they run across the line.
Nice restart for their teammate Kurt Busch, 5th place.
Suarez, he fell right in there. He's in 3rd place. Everybody did a good job.
Well, Harvick was putting a lot of pressure on his teammate Clint Boyer there for that first lap, but then down into the corner the second time by, lost the nose, went up the racetrack. We heard him free up that car for this restart.
What I saw with Harvick, kind of a diamond, the car was going up a little high and diamond off. I think that may be what we'll see here in a minute.
Bobble for Truex. And Larson almost had a chance to get inside him coming up off the corner.
Don't you know that Boyer's sitting there saying, you know, we had a lot of fun when the race was stopped, but I'm all business now.
Yeah, we're going to have some more fun now. Who did you ever race harder than your teammate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? And especially those two, they go way back.
Yeah, they were teammates at Childress long before Stuart Haas. Back at 11th, Stenhouse and Johnson. And Jimmy makes it work. Track still looks pretty rubbered up despite that bit of rain.
Well, it was pretty clean. They ran some of their fastest laps on that restart. That shows you how business is picking up. Grip level was really good, but now track's starting to get really rubbered in quickly here after it's set.
14th place, William Byron just went past Jamie McMurray. Now Jamie's trying to hold off Eric Almirola.
You'll have to figure out something here. Just fooling.
The track's probably, I believe it's in the best shape it's been in all day. That little bit of rain, they cleaned it up real nice. Got a lot of grip. Last time by, the 2 leaders ran almost identical times, 23 to a 25.
And it's the coolest it's been all day. That little shower that came through dropped the ambient temperature down to 65. So engines making good horsepower. Track giving good grip. Lap times go down, speeds up.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see is you watch Harvick. He's going to go in, let the car go up. Now watch him come. He comes off the corner with an incredible amount of speed and really closes up. He does it really nice off at 2. Gets that nice high line and really gets a lot of straightaway speed.
And I give he and Rodney Childress a lot of credit. We heard Matt talk about freeing this race car up. He had an idea that he might be in 2nd place. Boyer, no adjustments. I just wonder if he's a little bit too tight right now to make the lap time that Kevin Harvick's able to make if he can get by him.
Jeff, they're running identical times. 40 to a 42 that time by. 49 to a 50 that time by. They're running identical times.
1st, 2nd on the left, 3rd and 4th on the right. The Toyotas of Suarez and Truex.
Yeah, we saw right there on the right of Truex. He talked about being real tight on the exit of the corner. And he gets into the corner, rolls into the throttle really early. But as he gets to the exit, he's just not able to complete the throttle and is really losing the nose off the exit. Cost him a lot of time to be able to gain on Suarez on the exit.
So 65 laps to go. If you're Kevin Harvick, how hard do you want to battle your teammate for the lead right now?
Yeah, I think what Harvick wants to do is just keep him in and want to stay in touch. I believe Harvick's car will be better on the long run. But remember about Boyer. I think back to Martinsville. He didn't take the lead till late in the race. Then he took the lead and held it. Today, he didn't take the lead till late in this race. Can he hold it? That's the question.
There's no doubt in my mind Harvick's a little bit better than he is.
Right here, big run.
Yeah, we saw the 14 actually get a little bit loose off of turn 2 that time.
This is the move right here that Harvick makes
Harvick's
so
gonna
well.
take advantage of it.
Looking high. Outside.
Oh! Boy,
Boyer,
great job squeezing back in the throttle and squeezing Kevin Harvick wide.
This is going to be no gimme.
No. But this is where Harvick is so good. He gets that
Harvick
outside going, and Boyer's got to give it to him.
He's got
there.
the
He don't want to
now.
take a chance. Got to give it to him.
And I thought Boyer was maybe tight, but I think he's actually just a little bit too loose on this run.
Yeah, you heard him working the throttle there. I just can't get back in the gas quite quick enough.
It's the 6th time that Harvick has led today, and he's led a race-high 138 laps so far.
Well, Mikey won both stages, and now he's very possibly going to win this race, so he's having a very dominant day. But
right now, Clint Boyer's going, why did it stop raining?
Yeah,
exactly.
He's probably hauling down there, why didn't y'all dance a little harder? I don't know. I know he wants to win. All of us want to win. Everybody wants to win. But I think he could finish second to Kevin Harvick here today with the car Harvick's had. He'd be pretty happy with that.
This thing's not over yet. Here's a battle for 14th.
Yeah, Almirola got past Jamie McMurray. That 20 car of Eric Jones is the first car 1 lap down, battling with them. Chase Elliott in 8th with Denny Hamlin with a run.
We've seen these guys battling hard all day long, and we've seen some of the history that these two have had in the past. Not necessarily here at Dover.
But they were concrete turns. Martinsville.
Yeah, Joey Logano in that 22 car, remember, had to come back to pit road before we went back racing to tighten the right front wheel. He restarted back in 16th, and that's where he's just locked down right now. He has not made any ground whatsoever here as we're closing in on 50 to go.
This guy right here, I mean, you think about this guy. He's been all over the place today. He was a couple laps down at one time. He's done a nice job of getting himself back in the top 10.
Spent about 40% of this race off of the lead lap, and then got a free pass at lap 272. And slowly but surely working his way back toward the front, now in 10th place.
And he just didn't have Kyle Larson didn't have a very good car when this race started, and that's why he got so far behind. But they have made it better and better and better. Track conditions are better now.
And Denny Hamlin passes Chase Elliott, 8th place. Teammates battling for 6th. Keselowski closing in on Blaney. But lost a bunch of ground right there going up high before catching Reed Sorensen.
I think that Keselowski might be a little frustrated because they had a really good car. That pit stop put him behind a couple of cars he probably shouldn't have been behind. I don't think, unless we have a caution, not much chance to make up that time.
Let's see if he takes this high line again. He goes in, tries to cut down low on the exit, get a big run here. He's got a lap car that might even help him out a little bit, that holds up the 12 of Blaney.
He's there. Going to thread the needle? Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah.
Outside corner 2.
Yeah, he's going to complete this.
That high line is working right now. I've seen a number of cars. We saw Harvick go by Boyer on the outside, and now it looks like the 2 is going to clear the 12 here on this outside pass.
And I think Brad's car's working really well right now also.
Oh, he had a phenomenally fast car. I think maybe next to Harvick, maybe the second best car here, but that pit stop done him in.
Not counting the 3 leaders, Harvick, Boyer, and Suarez, Keselowski is about the quickest car on the racetrack. 10th place here, Larson and Johnson. Chevrolet is running 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Just don't think 42 of Larson has the car today to compete like we've seen him in the past.
His car is loose. I've seen it sideways a number of times in just the last few laps.
Wow, what a battle. Byron and Stenhouse battling for 12th. That lap car of Sorensen may figure into this. And Eric Almirola catches them as they deal with traffic.
I'm going to be extremely impressed with William Byron. I already have been, but even more so today, if he can get that 24 car into this kind of a position, have the day that he's having right now.
Stenhouse coming back on the outside.
It'll be hard to hold that 10 car off. Almirola's pretty quick right now. I think he'll probably complete the pass here on the 17 and then go after the 24.
Yeah, Daryl, to your point, Harvick's first for Stewart Haas, then second with Boyer, then you got Kurt Busch in 5th, and then you've got Almirola back there in 14th. I think he has a much better car than that if he can get through some of this traffic.
Yep.
50 to go in Dover. Harvick leading his teammate Boyer by 2.4 seconds. We'll take you side by side under green at Dover.
What is a trophy, gentlemen? Something to put on the mantle.
Today's the day, boys.
Cannot believe it.
It's why we're here.
You are the champion, baby!
Good. It's exactly why we're here. But there could be trouble. Now get out there and grab yourselves a trophy.
No one agrees on the best. Everyone agrees on the 2 best. One's a miracle of human genetics. One's a god. One controls the game. One finishes it. They play each other every year. And we still can't decide. King Kong versus Godzilla. Does it matter who wins? Explosion of the exceptional.
Introducing the new 2018 Ford F-150 with best-in-class towing, best-in-class payload, and best-in-class torque. The F-150 lineup has the capability to get big things to big places big time. And things just got bigger. F-150 is now Motor Trend's 2018 Truck of the Year. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Race day? I'm making chili.
Nah, hot dog.
Chili.
No. Hot dog.
How about a sub? With chili. Race day calls for a Coke.
Nothing better.
It's tailgating 101.
Section PU 402, row 41.
Jimmy Johnson, the fastest cut in the West.
Section 156, row 4.
Kurt Busch to the lead on the backstretch.
Section 25, row 3.
What a year for Bubba.
Section O, row 25.
Keselowski's gonna win it.
Section 233, row 1.
Martin Truex Jr. wins.
Which seat will you be in?
Now another car
when history is made at Pocono.
Ryan Blaney will score his first career win.
The Pocono 400, June 1st through 3rd. Call 1-800-RACEWAY to get your tickets now.
Kevin Harvick, the race leader, by 3.3 over his teammate Clint Boyer. How about Daniel Suarez giving that Toyota a great ride today? 4.6 seconds back in 3rd, carrying our Fox bobblehead, a visor cam. Best finish on an oval for Suarez, 6th. And right now he is 3rd, in position to tie his career best Cup finish, which came at Watkins Glen.
They're going to have to throw everything in the steering linkage away. The box, the steering wheel, he's been fighting that thing today.
Larry, after a 49-minute red flag for rain, I almost hate to ask you, what do the trends show for the rest of this race?
And Larry Mack's trends of the race, they kind of are fickle because they kind of counter each other. The average of the last caution in the last 10 spring Dover races, 43 to go. We are there now. But in the last 3 spring races, we've had 2 overtimes. Ooh. So again, that 43 to go is an average over 10 races.
All right, Larry, so talk me through this. Caution comes out now. We know how these crew chiefs work the race backwards. Obviously, it's 4 tires to get to the end. Let's take it a little step further. Inside 20 or 15 to go, what do you do?
I think 15 would be the magic number, Jeff, because now once we get to 15 to go, we've got about 60 laps on our tires, but I think we would see possibly some teams go with just right side tires. Get down to less than 10 to go, it becomes a whole different story again. But right now, caution comes, no question. 4 Goodyear tires.
Yeah, but if it just goes a little bit further, put me down for 2, please.
17 lead lap cars. And we'll remind you that both races last year had a change of lead in the final 3 laps.
And we haven't seen anybody who's led the most laps win here in a while, too.
So, Mike, it's not over in Dover.
No, not yet.
Got a ways to go yet.
.38 laps to go. Let's have a look at today's 5-hour energy big move of the race. Kevin Harvick battling teammate Clint Bowyer. Bowyer with 1 win, Martinsville. Harvick with 3. Finally does make the pass on the outside and pulls away to a 3-second lead. That's today's 5-hour energy big move of the race. Matt?
And with that move, you can see the balance of Bowyer's Ford just going away more and more. 2 stops ago, they made 2 different changes for a loose race car. The last stop, Bowyer didn't want to make any change. He thought he was going to be good, and the car has just swung to the free side. Meanwhile, the Ford team was telling Kevin Harvick about the fact that other cars were on the free side, and Kevin reported back to Rodney Childers, "I'm loose too."
Alex Bowman is on pit road under green.
Remember, he took the wave around and did not pit the last time, so they had to come to pit road.
Yeah, and Harvick had just lapped him, Larry, so he came as soon as he got lapped, he came to pit road.
Martin Truex running 4th as Bubba Wallace comes to pit road. Jamie?
And Mike, he's just been kind of stuck there before the red flag, and after sitting in 4th, the Martin's saying now his car has gone to junk. Basically, there's no front grip, no rear grip. But keep in mind, if he keeps it here in the top 5, it'll be the team's best finish since Martinsville back in March.
Tell you what, that 13 car, I don't know what's wrong with it. I think there's something wrong with it, though.
It's loose.
Wow.
This is a dirt track like Michael was talking about earlier.
I think he just wore out the right rear tire.
He was trying to get under Greg Galding, and Clint Bowyer had a front row seat for that one.
Boy, that 13 car, he's just hanging on to that baby.
What's that bright light in the sky?
Yeah, that's called
We've not seen that in 2 days.
And that could change this racetrack. It's going to take a little bit more of that. There's still some clouds and it's trying to break through. But if that sun comes out, watch the conditions and the balance of these race cars to change completely.
I'll tell you what, the moon could come out and it ain't going to affect that 4 car. That bad boy's on its way to victory lane.
You wait around a couple of hours and it might.
There'll be a moon here sometime.
32 to go, 5 seconds. Now Harvick's lead over the field. 2 Fords leading 2 Toyotas, leading 3 Fords. With the best of the Chevrolets, Jimmy Johnson, best in class, but in 9th place.
Looking back at our leader here, but Mike, I got to tell you, the run of the day in my book, Daniel Suarez running 3rd. I mean, Harvick's got the car to beat. We know that.
We knew that all weekend.
But, yeah, but I'm surprised. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised that Suarez has been able to hang on to 3rd place.
Matt?
Mike, the focus for Bowyer is shifted from the windshield to the mirror. Daniel Suarez keeps closing in on the 14 of Bowyer. And this has been a great place for Daniel. You go back to his Truck Series days, he finished 2nd here twice and an Xfinity win. This young man continues to impress him today. Right now he's trying to close out a career best finish of 3rd.
Boy, Matty, and you're right. I mean, Suarez is just inching closer and closer to the back of that 14 car.
Yeah, both races last year here at Dover, he was in the top 10. So he likes this racetrack. He's got a great feel for it. Just keeps getting better each time he comes here.
Career day for Daniel Suarez.
Well, our leader is coming up on 3 cars right now that are, I know they're scaring me, and they got to be worrying him to death. Those 3 cars he just about to put a lap on here, the 6, 37, I think it is.
Now they're trying to keep from going 2 laps down. Michael McDowell, the 34, is already 2 down, about to go 3.
They were loving on each other there for a minute. All 3 of them were. I mean, they were all over each other.
6 p.m. in the East. The racing doesn't end here in Dover. The NHRA is coming up next right here on FS1 as soon as we're finished with NASCAR, which has 27 laps to go. So you drag racing fans, just hang in there, and we'll be with you shortly. Boyer is eating into Harvick's lead. Traffic may have had a little to do with that, but it's come down from 5 seconds now to 4.6, closing to 4.5. And Boyer's on his way back to the front.
Yeah, I think what happened to Harvick was those cars I was talking about. I mean, there was a gaggle of them right there in front of me. He had to kind of tiptoe through. So I think that may have hindered his progress a little bit.
Now, we've seen where when you're in traffic, it just has an effect on your car, not only while you're behind them, but the time that you spend behind them builds that air pressure up in the tires and affects the car even after you pass them.
Yeah, I think Kevin Harvick is a smart guy, and he sees these guys, and nobody's pressuring him. Last thing you want to do is force your way into trouble. I think right now Harvick's doing exactly what we're doing. He's watching that scoreboard, clicking those laps off, hoping that Larry's trends are not correct.
Quickest cars on the racetrack right now are Kurt Busch in 5th and Brad Keselowski in 6th, along with Boyer. And now Harvick picks up the pace to match them. We knew from practice when Kevin Harvick made that first run of 22 laps and his 10-lap average and consecutive 15-lap average only varied by a couple of hundredths of a second. Did that tell us he was the car to beat?
I felt like he's been the car to beat ever since Friday when we got here. Absolutely.
13th place, Joey Logano trying to recover from that loose wheel on the final pit stop. Passing William Byron. 13th place. Eric Jones in the midst of that is 1 lap down. And this keeps going. Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola for 11th place. Keeping close tabs on one another.
Yeah, I think our Eric Almirola might be a little bit quicker than the 9 car. He's chasing him down here, and he's been working on the 9 pretty hard.
Yeah, I was going to say what keeps going is Eric Almirola to the front.
This one around the 9. I think that 10's not too bad right now. That moves him up to 11. Or yeah, up to 11.
Oh, go get that 42.
And that gives Ford 6 of the top 11 spots, along with 3 Toyotas and the Chevys of Johnson and Larson in 9th and 10th. Great day for Stuart Haas, 3 of the top 5.
Now, Eric Almirola's got to get to the 42. I'm not sure he can. He's pretty far back of the 42 right now. I don't think he'll have enough time.
And we've seen the 4 Kevin Harvick be really strong in the past and go battle for championships. What we haven't seen is the depth of the organization with their other 3 cars. This year, this is the best I've seen. You can typically throw a blanket over all 4 of these cars, and we're about to see that if Eric Almirola can get up to the 42 of Larson and put that 4th Stuart Haas car in the top 10.
Jeff, very seldom do you get all the pieces put together at one time. Right driver, right crew chief, right car, right everything. And right now, the Stuart Haas teams have the right parts.
And if there's a difference in those teams, Rodney Childers would be a great part of it, because he has a knack between he and Kevin Harvick, like Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson did for many years, of making the right adjustment at the right time to put them mid-race, late race, in a position to win.
You know what I think makes Harvick so great is his experience, not on the track, off the track. On his own Xfinity cars, on his own trucks. He and Delana have their own marketing company. They get the big, they get the big picture. They see it all. And then Kevin takes all that knowledge and all that experience and applies it out on the racetrack.
And you know who else makes Kevin Harvick really good? That guy we were showing there, Rodney Childers, great crew chief.
Pay no attention to the reflections coming off that car as the sun makes a brief appearance. Its first since Friday here at Dover.
Hey guys, one more note on Stuart Haas Racing. Think about this. Last year, They won 3 races total as an organization, and one of those was the Daytona 500 and a road course race. They're sitting here flirting with win number 5 of the first 11 races of 2018.
Great organization. Greg Zipadelli, who came out of the modified ranks in New England, the family-owned Sherry Cups team, and went to Busch North and then came south. Tony Stewart's longtime crew chief.
Yeah, Tony Stewart made sure he brought this guy over to Stewart-Haas, be a part of that team.
Mike, it's the best of the best. I mean, look at Tony Stewart. Smart businessman. Knows how to put a deal together. Knows how to run a race team. Knows what to say to these drivers to motivate them. There's just so many good things that are going on over there right now.
He's
Roush Yates Engines. They've done a great job this year. And all I can remember are the off-season press releases about, oh, you know, the Ford body hasn't changed since 2013. They're going to be at such a disadvantage this year.
Yeah.
And they pretty well cleaned house.
I wish I could remember what word it was that Keselowski used, but it was a Keselowski word.
Yeah. A drubbing or something
drubbing,
like that?
I think that was
Yeah,
what
we're going to take a drubbing, he said. 7th place.
Good little battle right here. 12 and it's 11 going at each other. I believe the 12's a little bit better than Denny Hamlin right now, but he can't get around him.
12 to go in Kansas next Saturday night on FS1. Look at that car. That's on. Harvick is on rails.
He is. He just had it dialed in the whole weekend. He's dominated the whole weekend.
He's on cruise control right now, coming to 10 to go.
You know what you start doing now, don't you? Holding your breath. No cautions.
10 more.
For every guy like Harvick that says no cautions, there's about 30 others that say, man, I hope there's a caution.
And where the choice would come, guys, is the pace has fallen off 2 seconds from what those fresh tires had when they were first put on there.
There's a lot of rubber laid down on this racetrack right now.
Harvick, Hamlin, Almirola quickest that lap with 9 to go. William Byron trying to hang on to the tail end of the lead lap after a very strong day for his number 24.
Good job, though. He does what rookies need to do. He runs every lap. He gets the experience. He gets the knowledge. He gives the crew chief the information. He'll be better when they come back.
You hear Harvick making 3 stabs at the throttle in each corner now?
Yeah. These corners are so long, and the balance changes so much from the entry through the center to the exit.
Well, the Toyotas are battling for 3rd place. Martin Truex inside of Daniel Suarez.
Hats off to Suarez. What a great job he's done. Of course, he might get eaten up here by the 78, because 78 looks pretty good.
But Truex has got to be a little careful. He's got the 41 at Kurt Busch. Closing in on him.
Yeah, he's breathing down his bumper.
3-car battle for 3rd.
Mike, when you're here at the end of the race, you look ahead of him and say, that's a position. That's enough. If I can get by that guy, it moves me up a spot. That's that never give up attitude. You got to have it. I don't care if you got to fight to the bitter, all the way to the bitter end.
And this is something I've seen Harvick do. We saw a little bit out of Keselowski, but Harvick's been able to do this, even racing for position for the lead, is move up the racetrack and still be able to make that second group work. We've not seen anybody else do that. Hey, he's still driving. Did you see that? He slid the back end off the turn 2 right there.
And I like, you know what I like about that? You stay in your rhythm. This is what works for me. This is how I get back in the gas. I do this. I do that. Don't change.
Underneath Landon Castle with 4 to go. William Byron now in his rearview mirror. Now the last car on the lead lap is Joey Logano, who not that long ago was a contender to win this. Had to make an extra stop to tighten up a right front wheel. Took him out of contention.
Yeah, I think Logano and Keselowski both will look back in that last pit stop and say what might have been. You know, look at Tony Stewart. I know as a driver, you just stay calm and cool, but as an owner, watching your car going to finish first and second, maybe all three of them in the top 10 right at it, you're a nervous wreck. His heart's beating out of his chest right now.
Starter has the white flag in hand. There it is, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. #621st career start for the 42-year-old from Bakersfield, California. Moving to 18th on the all-time win list. Here he comes for his 41st career win. Kevin Harvick wins Dover.
Good job, boys. Awesome weekend all around. Great job. Thank you guys so much. Good job, man. Good job, Timmy. Everybody, that was an awesome weekend, man. Great job on pit road, guys. Really appreciate the effort. Everybody's getting better every week. It's important. Great job, everybody.
That was Rodney Childers. The voice before that was the boss, Tony Stewart. Well, we asked at the top of the show who would be the first to 4 victories in 2018. Now we know.
Yes, sir.
Second win at Dover for Harvick in his 35th start. And about that youth movement, 6 of the last 14 races have been won by a driver over 40.
I'm just curious if Kevin Harvick's going to be humble, or is he going to keep the trash talking going to Boyer?
Clint Boyer finishes second. It is the 4th 1-2 sweep for Stuart Haas. Daniel Suarez third, Martin Truex fourth, and Kurt Busch rounding out the top 5. 4 fingers for 4 wins. Kevin Harvick taking home the checkered flag is today's Sunoco fueling victory, as Stuart Haas puts 3 cars in the top 5 for the first time ever.
And a really, really difficult racetrack. That's quite an accomplishment.
That was pretty cool. Harvick went all the way to the end of the grandstands over there in the middle, 1 and 2. He wanted to make sure he got his hand out the window to wave at every fan that came here to Dover today.
I just think, Mike, I watch these 4 teams week in, week out here lately. They are helping each other, sharing information better than I think they ever have.
It's been 13 Dover races since a Ford went to Sunoco Victory Lane. Matt Kenseth did it back in May of 2011. And Toyota did not lead a lap today. First time since Atlanta in 2017.
I really thought that Kyle Busch started to take control of this season and possibly be the favorite for the championship, but I believe Kevin Harvick has just taken back the reins of being one of the favorites, if not the favorite.
Great day for Stuart Haas. Thanks to everybody who stuck it out through the rain delay. A great finish for that race team, and Kevin Harvick brings it home.
Hey, Mike, it's over and Dover now.
Yes, it is. Chris Myers.
All right. And Kevin Harvick, who only won 2 races all of last year, has already won 4 twice in his career, including when he was the Cup champion in 2014. 5, the most he's ever won. And Michael Waltrip, he's in a groove, and he continues the trend, really. We saw it with Kyle Busch, with him earlier. When he's going to win a race, he's going to dominate a race.
Well, I can't believe he was able to take the lead so late and drive off to a 7.24 second victory. That's unheard of. It just tells you how much power, how much speed that 4 car had in it today.
Others chasing the experienced driver, one of the youngsters, Daniel Suarez, who wound up 30, standing by with our Vince Welch.
Yeah, matches his career best, and it is his career best finish on an oval. How would you sum up the day today?
Well, it was good. Very proud of everyone on this team. Scott Graves, the rest of the guys, Stanley, everyone that makes this happen. You know, we had a little rough start in the first few weeks, month and a half, and now definitely we're moving in the right direction. So just very proud of this team, Jockey Racing, TRD Engines, everyone that makes this possible. It's pretty cool to finally get moving in the right direction.
Right direction indeed. Well done. Third place for Daniel Suarez.
All right, thank you very much, Vince. And so Kevin Harvick drives for the cycle. Second time this year he's done that. Remember Las Vegas winning 2 stages and the race. He took over with 62 laps to go, held on. We had that 41-minute red flag rain delay. It was the 6th different time that Harvick, and there's his crew chief, Rodney Childers, are running out there to congratulate him. 6 different time that he led this race and finished leading with 201 laps.
I think that's why Kevin Harvick was so comfortable with talking trash to Clint Boyer. He knew he had the machine under him to win this race. And when they lined up for that late restart and he settled out in that second position, it was all over then, Chris.
Yeah, because when that red flag came out, Boyer was your leader, and we heard from Harvick and Boyer, and now let's hear from Clint once again.
P2 on the day for Clint Boyer, and there's only one Nostradamus, but if you had a chance to second guess and maybe go back and make an adjustment in that last stop, knowing maybe how the track would go, would you?
Well, the biggest thing was it's just if we had a chance to adjust our car in clean air like he did. He had that luxury all day long, and that was the first shot at tires, you know, and clean air. And I knew, man, it took off and it was turning really, really good, and it really needs to kind of be tight and work into that. I knew when it took off as good as it did and it was rotating as good as it did, I was in trouble, and sure enough, I just got way, way, way too loose. But awesome Ford Fusion, Rush Truck Centers, Haas Demo Day. We won with that Haas Demo Day, you know, on the car in Martinsville. I thought maybe it was going to be again, but just the opportunity Gene and Tony give all of us at Stewart Haas Racing makes this a lot of fun. It's fun to be running like this again and competitive and up front in the limelight.
Thanks. Vince?
Martin Truex Jr., 4th place. At the end of the season, maybe you look back on it and feel it was a good points day that helped you towards something bigger. But how does it feel right now?
Frustrated a little bit. We could never make it any better. You know, we talked at the rain delay there, just so tight on exit. Just couldn't get the thing turning off the corner, and I could catch anybody who was in front of me at any point in time after 15 or 20 laps in a run, and I just stuck there. So it was very frustrating. The harder I tried, just the more I hurt my tires. I didn't go any faster. So at the end, I was really struggling hanging on. We took a swing at it there at the last caution, and it was definitely a swing and a miss because, if anything, it was worse. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a frustrating day, but, you know, battling back from that tire issue and then, you know, having to do some things to compensate for that definitely hurt us. And as bad as our car drove, I'm surprised we finished 4th. So everybody else's must have been really bad.
It is a Busch beer bath, and the confetti flies. Kevin Harvick parks it in victory lane for the 4th time this season. Kevin, you and Clint Boyer so tight back and forth, and then all of a sudden you had the move of the race, you pass him, and you win by 7 seconds. How did you get it done?
Well, the first thing I had to do is just thank everybody on my team, everybody at Stewart Haas Racing, Roush Yates Engines, everybody from Ford for just continuing to put the effort that they put into these cars. 3 cars in the top 5 says a lot about where we are as a company, but everybody from Jimmy John's and Busch and Ford, Fields, Haas, Mobile One, Morton Buildings, Textron, Off-Road, Ollie's, Liftmaster, and the fans especially. It was great to see those fans stick around for the finish, but it's fun racing your teammate. And I mean, that says a lot about our company and one of your good friends as well. So just want to say hi to Glenna, Keelan, and Piper at home. Be home in a little bit.
All right, another monster's coming home to Keelan.
That's right. Yeah, this time don't break his arm, Keelan.
Congratulations. Kevin Harvick makes it 2 at Dover, Chris.
All right, thank you, Jamie. And we talked about Stewart Haas. You know, this is their 5th win this year. This is the 10th anniversary of that race team. They've never won more than 6 in one season. Harvick 4 with Boyer, that's 5. Talking about racing his teammates, so 4 of 11. These, after 11 races, are your Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series points and standings. You win, you're in. You get those playoff points. And Kevin Harvick is putting on quite a run.
That's the nerve area right there. We're fighting for a playoff berth, Chris.
And coming up, NHRA from Atlanta next Saturday night on FS1 from Kansas 7 Eastern. By the way, Harvick has 2 wins in Kansas. It'll be 6 local time. Saturday night, we hope you tune in. Want to send best wishes to Gene Michael, who is part of our technician crew celebrating 60 years in television today. 60 years. Thank you for your hard work and loyalty and dedication over the course of the season. And a happy birthday to Lynn Mignani, who celebrates her birthday this week. Our logistics coordinator helps us get to and from the races. Also, Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, his birthday today as he celebrates. But Kevin Harvick celebrates. Rain didn't get in the way of his 4th victory of the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup season. For Michael Waltrip, our entire production crew, we'll see you next Saturday night on FS1 from Kansas for more NASCAR racing. Thanks for hanging in there with the weather delay. Enjoy NHRA drag racing coming your way on Atlanta straight ahead right here on FS1.